from KPAX and MTN Sports. This is Grizzly Gridiron Classics.
The year is 2002, and Montana is the reigning national champion. Now on their title defense, the Grizzlies traveled to Portland for a matchup with Portland State between two ranked Big Sky Conference opponents. With less than a minute left in the game, the Grizzlies needed another miracle to escape with a come-from-behind win on the road, and they got just that from J.R. Waller. The first quarter from that game begins after this.
It's time for kickoff on Grizzly Gridiron Classics.
Late October. It's getting cold in Missoula, but the Montana offense is heating up. Scoring 68 points last week, the Grizz are looking a lot like a team that went to Portland 3 years ago and lost. The Vikings are the last Big Sky Conference team to beat the national champs. Will history repeat itself, or will Montana take another step towards a fifth straight conference title? The answer is coming up next. October 26th has been circled on every calendar in Missoula and Portland since the schedules came out last spring. A beautiful night in the Rose City. Welcome to Portland, Oregon. I'm Tom Kotz along with Dave Guffey, as tonight the #1 ranked team in the country, the Montana Grizzlies, are in town to take on the Portland State Vikings. And Dave, we know that Portland State football is known for its offense, its passing game, but this year Justin Wood doesn't have to throw the ball quite as much. He's got a pretty good tailback behind him in Ryan Fuqua.
Ryan Fuqua had a breakout year last season as a freshman. Now as a sophomore, 1,000 yards rushing even. He's a threat. He's taking pressure off Wood. Of course, a lot of teams have trouble rushing the ball against Montana. Fuqua rushed for, I think, 80 last year. He's looking for a big game tonight.
And Montana, the Grizzlies are not the #1 team in the country for nothing. They have some playmakers of their own, and maybe the most exciting guy on the field tonight is #1. His name is Levander Seegers.
LV, Mr. Excitement, always has a smile on his face, and his shoes are always burning. Getting the ball to him a lot more. Became a starter last week at wide receiver, and you saw what he could do there. That huge touchdown pass from Edwards to Levander. He returns punts, he returns kicks. Get the ball to him, let him see what happens. He's got a good supporting cast, but he can always make something happen when he touches the football.
The last time that Montana head coach Joe Glenn was in this stadium, he was head coach at the University of Northern Colorado, and the Bears lost to the Vikings. No doubt Coach Glenn would love to even his record here at PGE Park. We'll have that coming up next with the kickoff. Stay with us. We're in Portland for the Vikings and the Grizzlies.
Tonight's Big Sky Conference football game between the Montana Grizzlies and the Portland State Vikings is brought to you by Lucky Lil's and Magic Diamond Casinos, a division of Town Pump across Montana. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Montana. The Montana Wood Products Association, promoting healthy forests and healthy communities through management of Montana's forests. Universal Athletic Service, for the athlete in all of us. And CarQuest Auto Parts stores. With over 4,000 CarQuest Auto Parts stores, you'll find it at CarQuest.
11,000 fans expected for tonight's ball game at PGE Park between the #1 team in the country, the Montana Grizzlies, and the 13th ranked Portland State Vikings. The captains are at midfield right now with the coin toss. And we're here in PGE Park, Dave Guffey. That is a baseball stadium most of the year. And they play football in the fall. Kind of a different place to call a game, but a good atmosphere. I think there's going to be a lot of Montana fans and a lot of Viking fans. This place will get loud tonight.
We're watching the coin flip right now, and of course, I think they're expecting 3,000 to 4,000 Montana fans. I know the tailgate area here right next to the stadium is just huge. It's almost a block-long tailgate party.
Third to the start of the second
half. And you see the signal by the official down here. We're watching the coin toss. But I'll tell you what, Tom, the last time Montana played Portland State, it was in Hillsboro, Oregon, at Hillsboro High School, and which was a pretty good venue. But they've done a lot of nice things here. It's a really good improvement here at PG&E Park. And we see the signal the Grizz are going to get the ball first. John Edwards and company at quarterback trying to get things started. But hey, what a crazy Big Sky Conference race. Guess what? Sacramento State at Eastern Washington. Who do you think might win that game?
Don't know.
That's right, Sac State, 48-41. That's the only day game. And of course, Eastern Washington was a viable. They were right in the thick of things. That's their third loss. They're out of the action now, and the Vikings now, of course, need this win. Montana to remain unbeaten, the only unbeaten Big Sky Conference team in Big Sky play. This would be a huge win for them on the road to yet another Big Sky Conference championship.
And here come the national champs as the Grizzlies take the field. Take a look at Tim Walsh in his 10th year now at the helm of the Vikings. 10th season, he's 65 and 45 overall, and in conference play he's 26 and 25, so one game above 500. And what a win it would be for his program. Really a culmination of the success that they've built on each year if they could get the win tonight over the Montana Grizzlies.
Of course, the Grizz shooting for their 22nd conference win in a row, 23rd, whatever. The last conference loss was right here to the Vikings, 51-48 in overtime. And actually, before the game, they had three of the principals from that game. Terry Charles, a great wide receiver who is gone now to graduation, and I think his last name was Ransom, who blocked the PAT attempt. Montana had just scored, would have tied the game 49-49. Instead, a blocked PAT, you lose a point, they recover it, return it for 2 points, hence the 51-48 loss here in 1999. But that's how big a deal that win was to them, to introduce those players here prior to homecoming.
The Grizzlies have had 3 wins on homecoming and on the road so far this year. This is the 4th time that Montana has been the homecoming guest of a Big Sky Conference team. And the 3 other teams have gone home disappointed.
Tell you, I'm looking at some 1AA scores here. We don't have time to get into that. We're almost kicking it off. But here's a shocker. Wolford goes into Appalachian State, beats the number 8 team in the nation, 26-19. So Appalachian State falls today in 1AA football. We'll give you some more scores when we have the time to do it.
The ball's teed up. Mike K. Hall Willis is going to let her fly back deep, standing at their own 2-yard line. Rory Zickman along with number 1, Levander Seegers, and it's going to be Zickman from his own 4. Left side, he's got a crease. Almost up to the 30-yard line as the Grizz went to the left side. That's where they usually set up the return, and the Montana offense will take the field, and it all starts with number 5, John Edwards, senior quarterback out of Billings West, Walter Payton Award candidate, and he'll bring his club onto the team as the Grizz set up shop just inside their own 30.
And of course, Rory Zickman with a 94-yard touchdown return from kickoff last week, 4th longest in school history, a senior from Harleton, Montana.
Montana sets up 2 wide to the near side, Connor Malloy in motion. First play of the game from PG Park in a matchup that's been highly anticipated. And they give to J.R. Waller. He's up close to the 34-yard line on first down, a pickup of 3.5 yards.
And Tolo Tulatelli, the linebacker, is a sophomore from San Bernardino on the stop. Very good, fast group of linebackers for Portland State, led by number 52, Marcus Green, an outstanding senior linebacker from Pasadena, California.
7 yards to go on second down for the Montana Grizzlies. Single back set. Edwards has 4 receivers at his disposal. He's going left side. Incomplete. Tate Hancock, the intended receiver, had a shot at it, but the Vikings converged quickly. Good coverage down the left seam that time for Portland State.
Good coverage, pretty good time for John Edwards. And now Montana faces itself in a 3rd down situation. Of course, J.R. Waller back home, Benson High School here in Oregon, a redshirt freshman. J.R. starting in place of the injured David Gober. We see the replay, and just a really good hit in the secondary there by Renard Carey, number 3.
3rd and long. Man in motion is Levander Seegers. Edwards with time. This time Hancock reels it in, and it's a first down Montana near the 50-yard line.
And Portland State in a conventional 4-3, and they don't like to blitz that much. We see a replay here. The linebacker there, 44 in coverage, and good time for John Edwards. Kind of a timing pattern. Tate Hancock, of course, really coming into his own the last 2-3 games now, really since the Idaho game at wide receiver for the Grizzlies.
I want to tell you, on 3rd down, Tate Hancock has been the go-to guy across the middle. That time, picked up another first down for the Grizzlies. 3 wide. Edwards fakes a screen, comes back. That ball almost intercepted. And golly, that could have been 6 quick points had the Vikings been able to reel that in.
That was a great read. I think it was either 95 or 92.
I believe that was Stefan Kleinert.
Kleinert, who had a very big game last week, leading tackler. I think he had 10 stops in that win for the Vikings last season. This was kind of a badly timed screen pass anyway, because basically the pass rush got there too quick for John Edwards to do anything.
Kleinert knocked it down. If he would have caught it, he might have scored. 2nd and 10. The Vikings got a quick start that time into the Grizzly backfield. Agatupu Sogaputule.
Boy, you take that one every time, will you?
Sagapulatelli.
And I think
Sagapulatelli.
Sagapulatelli.
Excuse me.
There you go.
There you go.
Not bad.
Agatupu Sagapulatelli.
He's a junior. He's a transfer from Hancock Junior College. And
False start
they're calling the Grizzlies for procedure.
penalty.
So it looks like Sagapulatelli did get drawn off sides. It'll be 2nd and 15 for Montana, and head coach Tim Walsh hoping his club can get the Grizzlies to go 3 and out on their first possession, get the ball back in the hands of his star quarterback, Justin Wood.
Of course, in the open, we talked about Ryan Fuqua, the exciting sophomore halfback for Portland State. He's got that 3rd, 4th gear. J.R. Waller, Jelani Harrison, David Gover all have that gear as well. Some really good running backs in this game. Gover, of course, still out with an ankle injury.
2nd and 15. Blitz comes. Grizzlies pick it up. That ball, did it skip off the turf, or did Levander get down and make the catch? I believe they're saying he caught it.
Well, that's an interesting call. The official 25 yards back.
Maybe not.
Said no, it was trapped. And from our vantage point, Tom, I could not tell. Levander Seegers with a good effort there. Usually you tell if the receiver starts putting up big-time argument, he probably caught it, but I didn't see Levander do that.
Well, the official on the far side of the field looked to be the closest, and I didn't get a signal from him right away. But incomplete is the call. 3rd and long now for Montana. 2-back set. Jelani Harrison into the ball game along with J.R. Waller behind John Edwards. Straight back, wants to come this way, and it's almost picked off in and out of the hands on the near side of Darius Brown.
John Talmadge, the intended receiver. That's just a zone pass. You just split the zone between the safety and the corner, and Montana very successful running that, liked to run that play a lot to Tate Hancock. Talmadge was actually there. Ball was still maybe just a split second late. Nice coverage, and as you said, almost a pick by the Vikings.
Mark Spencer on to punt for Montana. Gets off a bit of a wobbler. Takes a Montana bounce, fielded at the 20-yard line. The Vikings will set up shop at about the 27.
Well, nice run by Steve Shinnon there. Number 8 averages 6.4 yards a return, kind of a shifty character. And the Grizz, of course, really not a bad special teams team as far as coverage-wise. Haven't let a big one get loose this year, but Portland State, that's how they've had a lot of success in the last couple games.
40 yards on the punt that time for Mark Spencer, the senior punter for Montana. And here come the Vikings for the first time. Number 1 offense a year ago in the Big Sky Conference, and they're led by Justin Wood, all-conference performer. They give the right side, Fuqua. He's run out of bounds after a short pickup on 1st down.
He was Fuqua last year, he's Fuqua this year, but it doesn't matter how you pronounce his last name. He's a talent. He's already rushed for 1,000 yards so far this season. And of course, did not start till late in the season last year. Portland State came on very strong at the end of last season. And that's why they were picked 2nd in the preseason polls by the media and coaches. Montana, of course, the favorite.
This game, as we said, highly anticipated, and whoever comes out of this is going to have the inside track on the Big Sky Conference Championship. Straight back, Wood has all kinds of time, comes over the middle, and that's complete to number 81, Jesse Levin.
And that's one of the returning veterans here they lost 2 of their top wide receivers at graduation. And if Justin Wood has that kind of time, Montana could be in for a long night. Great job by the offensive line. And as we talked about earlier today, Tom, PSU lost 2 starting offensive linemen to injury, a center and a guard. And so that's a big thing to watch tonight as that develops.
Levin, the returning receiver, he had 905 yards receiving last year for this Portland State team, and he gets off to a good start for the Vikings tonight. This time a 2-back set. Fuqua gets his number called. 3.5, 4 yards.
And kind of a different starting look for the Montana defense. If folks might have noticed, number 23, Kevin Edwards, a freshman, redshirt freshman, Spokane, actually starting at one of the safety spots. They moved number 3, Trey Young, from his normal free safety spot to the nickel spot to maybe help a little bit more with the running, stopping the running game, and specifically number 20, Ryan Fuquay.
Montana defense got beat up last week against Southern Utah. Southern Utah put up 45 points on the Grizz. Fuquay again. This time Blake Horgan's got him in the backfield. Loss of 4 on the play.
That's one of those calls. You run a blitz right where they want to run the ball. Not a good option. Fuquay had literally nowhere to go, and he couldn't get a start. Could not get a start. Watch this penetration. Excellent penetration. Blake Horgan there, 42, with the initial stop, grabs him by the jersey.
The Montana defensive line so beat up. 3 starters from last year's club out for the season, including a couple of All-Americans in Ciche Pitcher and Johnny Verona, but this defensive line has shown its depth this season. They've played well. Now 3rd and long. Wood comes this way and he's incomplete. He's shot high, and that'll bring up a punting situation. Coming out here for Deontay Taylor, and he overshot him. So the Grizzlies defense holds on their first test against this vaunted Portland State Viking offensive attack.
Coach Walsh said prior to the game, told the media that he thought one of the keys of this game for his Viking football team was not to let Montana get out of the blocks real fast, which they have done in previous games. Last year, I think the first play from scrimmage was a screen pass touchdown by Atu Molden for Montana. So he got his wish. They stopped him in the first series, but we're a number 2 coming up here.
Eddie Pazzo sends a spiral deep into Grizzly territory. Seegers from his own 15-yard line. And he's running out of real estate on this side. Now he's got a couple blocks, but there's a flag on the play.
It's not going to matter.
Seegers tripped up by the punter. Pazzo's at the 30, but there's a yellow handkerchief laying at the 19-yard line, and I believe this one's coming back.
And we talked about Mr. Excitement in our open, and there's another sample of it. Push in the back. You see that commonly called. It's a frequently called penalty. And it's really, if you're on a kickoff team like that or a punt return team like that, it's almost impossible to avoid sometimes, depending on how the player turns his body. And that's why you see it so frequently, because as a blocker, you're really kind of behind the 8 ball on when to know when to make that block. But Levander Seegers' huge return. Well, the Grizz will lose about 50, 60 yards on that one.
Seegers got himself out of trouble early on, then the flag came in.
Walk in the back. It's the receiving team. The distance to the goal from the spot of the foul. First down.
So Montana's going to be set up with their backs to the wall, and head coach Joe Glenn doesn't like that. A problem that the Grizz have had this year is they tend to shoot themselves in the foot sometimes on big plays. Penalties were really a problem early this season. They got them cleaned up for a couple of weeks, but a big one early on. Waller, the lone back, left side, and not a whole lot doing. Tough sledding on first down.
Kind of a field position game now. Montana, of course, needs to get a couple first downs, or if they don't have success in this second drive of the game, Portland State will have excellent field position. Of course, they have a very good punt return, kick return team as well. But Montana, sometimes it pays to be a little conservative down at this point of the field, because you're only 11 yards behind you at your end zone.
Grizzlies trying to get some momentum going. Edwards fakes a pass, a draw to Waller now. Left side, got room. Carrying tacklers up over the 20-yard line. That's a first down for the redshirt freshman. And it's a homecoming for him, as you mentioned, Dave, from Benson High School.
It's just a huge game for him. Of course, his dad is actually a football coach at Benson High School. But I think I heard that he has something like 44 members of his friends and family here at the football game. So what a great, exciting time for the youngster. Only a redshirt freshman, J.R. Waller, from, as we've mentioned, here in the Rose City.
He had 4 touchdowns last week against Southern Utah. 2 wide on first down. Levander Seegers hauls it into the 30, makes one man miss, and he's up close to the 35-yard line. Well, they say he stepped out of bounds at the 32.
The one thing about Levander, too, when people look at his size, I think at 5'7", 165, he's deceivingly strong upper body-wise. Colorado Springs, Colorado product, but Levander, of course, played as a true freshman, so he's only 19 years old, but he is deceivingly strong, hence he breaks more tackles than you think he might be able to.
Two backs behind Edwards. And they come this way with Waller. He's out in the flat, dragged down just over the 40-yard line. Darius Brown made the tackle in the open field.
And a nice tackle by Brown, because JR tried to give him a straight arm. If he could have got past him, he would have picked up at least 5-10 more yards. But once again, you talk about a guy, well, 5'9", but he's 197. JR also very strong upper body and lower legs. He keeps down low, and nice blocking there by the right tackle, the Grizz. Excellent stop. As you see, could have picked up quite a few more yards.
Edwards comes over to John Talmadge on a slip screen. Talmadge over the 50, 45, 40, and he's down close to the 30-yard line. First real big play of the Montana offense tonight. John Talmadge, no surprise, he's been making big plays for the last month.
Just keeps getting better and better every year, and once again a young player, a redshirt freshman from Anaheim, California. Talmadge, 6'4", and I think after that 6'4", I think maybe your next guy is maybe Tate Hancock at 5'10". So big difference in the lineup there with number 2.
The height drops off pretty quick across the board for the Grizzly receiving corps. 26 yards on that last completion from Edwards to Talmadge. Talmadge has had a touchdown in each of the last 3 Montana games. And walking onto the field now for Montana, number 43, Willie Walden, transfer tight end from the University of Oregon, who caught his first pass last week as a Montana football player. Edwards, all kinds of time on the play fake, wants Tate Hancock, touchdown! 6-0 Grizzlies.
What a great throw by Edwards. Tate Hancock, as we talked about, coming on strong since the Idaho game. Really, that was good coverage by PSU that time. But John Edwards, he's reading the newspaper back here. Credit the O-line, great time. And John has been pretty on the money. Hancock right there.
32 yards out, the strike to Hancock. Hancock is second touchdown of the season.
And Brent Donnerberg, the free safety, who missed last week's game with a knee injury, on the coverage, good coverage, but a great pass by Edwards to Tate Hancock.
Chris Snyder on to tack on the extra one. And that's good as well. 7-0 Montana as the Grizzlies drove the length of the field and put one on the Viking defense. Edwards to Tate Hancock from 32 yards out. Montana strikes first. It's 7-0 here in the first quarter. 7-0, the Grizzlies on top of the Vikings, courtesy of Edwards to Tate Hancock. Portland State is going to set up across the 30-yard line, as that was a great return that time for the Vikings. Hashim Hall, determined run, sets his team up in good field position.
Hall entered the game 28.8 per return, which is pretty darn good.
That leads the Big Sky Conference.
Showed some good strength there and a lot of toughness, which against this Montana kickoff team, you better, because they got some flying guys down there that like to come down and hit you. You see, we talked about the free safety. Trey Edwards moved into the nickel position, and Kevin Edwards now playing free safety, redshirt freshman from Spokane, number 23.
Fuquay in motion. Woods going to give it to him in the flat. And great tackle by Johnny Peoples, who was coming like a missile, and he had him in his sights, and Peoples makes the tackle.
That's another dangerous thing about Fuquay. A very good receiver, has 19 catches coming in, and you can see Wood looking at him all the way. That's where, if he can get a step on you, put a move on you out in the open field like that, Johnny Peoples, 27, made a very, very good tackle to contain a very dangerous runner in Fuquay.
A year ago, Fuquay led the nation in average yards per carry at 7.6.
Ranked third in the country right now in rushing yards per game.
Came in with 1,000 yards even. Wood takes a big hit, but bounces off for a pickup close to first down yardage. Took a shot from Blake Horgan, but Horgan didn't wrap up, and Wood got 3 or 4 more yards after the initial hit.
I can't tell you the last time I saw the Vikings run an option play, but rather effectively there. Good read by Justin Wood, the senior quarterback. Of course, last year Justin was the first team All-Big Sky Conference selection at quarterback. A great junior year, and almost picked up a first down for the Vikings.
Actually, that was Kevin Edwards who made the hit that last play. Either way, it was a good pickup, and now it's 3rd and short. Fuquay gets the carry, and he's not going to get it.
No, he's not. He's about a yard short, which puts the ball at about the 42. Montana, everybody sneaking up to the line of scrimmage there. And at this point of the game, if you're PSU, you probably got to punt it off.
There's no decision to make here. This is a no-brainer. You're close to midfield, but we're only 5 minutes into this ball game.
You know what that means? It's LV time.
Seegers standing at his own 17.
PSU sending in a person on the punt return team late. And Eddie Pazos averages 36.2 per attempt.
Gets off a good kick. High spiral. Fair catch called for. The 22-yard line. That's where Montana will start. The Grizzlies march 90 yards on their first possession. We'll see what they can do on their second try. They're up 7-0 over the Vikings. Jelani Harrison, the lone setback this time as the Grizzlies take over on their 3rd series of the first quarter. Edwards fakes to Harrison all kinds of time, and he overshoots Rory Zickman down the left side.
And that was a good place to throw that football. Great coverage by the Vikings. Double coverage on Rory Zickman. And actually, the Jelani Harrison, as you just mentioned, Tom, in the football game, the senior transfer from the University of Washington was kind of the safety valve guy. He was open on a delayed, about a 5-yard out, but John elected to throw the ball away instead, which was a good move.
Connor Malloy, the single tight end on the right side. They're going to run that way behind Malloy. Jelani Harrison close to the 29-yard line. Take a look at your first trivia question of the night. Don Adson Ford Trivia. In the 105-year history of UM football, no games were played in what 3 years, and why were no games played in those 3 years? We'll have the answer in a couple plays. Give Dave a chance to.
No, that's one I know.
To answer that one.
I actually know that one.
Well, that's because you wrote it.
3rd down now, 5. So Montana wants to keep possession of the football. They got to convert here.
Edwards almost completes a pass that would have been very close to first down yardage. Tyler Peterson stretched out, had a shot at it, and couldn't hang on.
So 3 and out on their 3rd offensive series. The Grizz marched 90 yards last series to take the go-ahead, to score the go-ahead touchdown, lead 7-0. But Portland State defensively showing very, very good coverage in the secondary so far in this football game.
Mark Spencer awaits the snap, gets it off a low liner, fielded at the 35-yard line and cut down. Trey Young made the play to bring down Steve Shinin.
Well, on 45, Colt Palmer there to help out, and Colt's playing with some hurt ribs.
The Vikings going to have the ball when we come back right now. 7-0, Montana on top. 2-back set behind Justin Wood as the Vikings have the ball 1st and 10 from their own 43-yard line. Wood straight back. Only 2 receivers in the pattern. He's coming to the left side, complete inside the 40-yard line. First down on the first play of the series. Antonio Jackson hauled it in.
And great time once again for Justin Wood. Tim Bush, the right defensive end, doing everything he could, trying to spin move there. But Wood, really lets us set up. You see the tackle there in the block. That's 91 Bush, but excellent pass by Wood. And of course, Coach Walsh was concerned about his offensive line with 2 starters out with injuries. So far, the Viking O-line has looked pretty decent, especially in a pass blocking scheme.
This time 4 wideouts. Fuquay, the lone setback. Grizzlies in their nickel package. Fuquay in the flat, couldn't hang on to it. tried the one-handed catch, didn't happen.
And that was, he was forced to throw it quicker than he wanted to. Fuqua really hadn't had a chance to turn upfield much at all. That's why you saw the Grizzly player scramble for the ball here, but it was definitely a forward pass, as you see right here. Tried to one-handed with his left hand. Joel Robinson, 53, the junior from Kalispell, right there to make the tackle if Fuqua would haul that in.
2nd and 10. 5:16 remaining here in the first quarter from PGE Park in Portland. 7-0 Montana. Wood gives the first man through up over the 25, down close to 30. Balls on the ground. Fumble, but I believe Jesse Levin, the wideout, was able to fall on it to retain possession. They gave the ball to the fullback, Salim Muhammad.
Only his 9th carry of the season. He's got the top 2 teams in challenges recovered 2-2 with 19. So both opportunistic football teams here playing tonight, and that could have really changed some momentum there if the Grizzlies could have recovered that miscue. So 3rd and just about a yard and a half now for the Vikings.
Looks like goal line formation. They want to talk it over as Antonio Bryant signals timeout. First timeout that the Vikings have taken.
You know, a lot has been said about that 51-48 game here in Portland State. In Portland a few years back, the overtime win. I remember that game. That game was 21-21 after a quarter. We're going, man, this is going to be your basic 88-80, and of course 51-48. There was a lot of points on the board. Both teams have changed dramatically. Both teams were primarily passing teams back then. Now both teams are much more balanced. And of course Montana and Yo Humphrey, what he's did the last couple years, and now Portland State has changed their philosophy because of a certain Ryan Fuqua, who, as we said at the onset, only a sophomore.
The answer to the first trivia question down at Edson Ford Trivia, well, it was because of the World Wars. World War I, they didn't play any games in 1918, and then again in 43 and 44, as our country was at war.
Couldn't field enough
Grizz
players.
football.
There weren't enough players. All the men were at war. Well, a lot of them. Not all, a lot of them.
All the athletes were serving their country.
Yep.
3rd and short. Jackson in motion. Play fake to Fuqua. And Wood gets off the pass, complete to Jackson for a first down. Herb Fernandez was chasing Wood, had a beat on him, and that's the athletic ability of Justin Wood to avoid that pressure and complete that critical 3rd down pass.
That's a great play by Justin Wood, and of course Herb Fernandez, senior from San Diego, really coming on strong at D end. But Justin Wood knew he had to unload it right away. He was about 10 yards in the backfield when he did, and Portland State with a nice looking drive right now.
2 tight ends now for Wood. Grizzlies creeping up. Speed option to the right side. Fuqua bobbles it and it goes out of bounds. Vikings will retain possession. 2nd time that we've seen the speed option, and Montana defensive coordinator Mike Bresky, in talking with him this week, said that when the Vikings get in the red zone, they like to run this play.
You know,
they like to run it a little better than they did right there, but that's a play that they will employ.
I like that play, but I never understood why you ran it to the short side of the field. You know, give your guy a little more, some more yards to run, especially a speed guy like he is.
They go back to 4 wide now. No tight ends. Fuqua behind Wood. Montana in their base nickel package. Thrown into double coverage. That's going to be incomplete. It's a good thing because Trey Young was there along with Kevin Edwards. Good coverage.
Well, Woods just threw that ball away. He knew their double coverage, and no one was going to get this thing. Smart throw. Now the Vikings find themselves, they were in 1st and 10 from the 20. Now it's 3rd and 12 from the 22. So look for Justin Wood to maybe roll out, try to get something going again. Possibly they got trips left, but you know they like to throw the ball to Fuqua too in this instance.
3rd and long. Big play early on for the Vikings. Going to the end zone. Touchdown! Boy, what a catch from Joy Williams at the back of the end zone, and this game is 1 point away from being tied up. Jay Williams with the touchdown.
And that was a fingertip catch. It was really a great throw. Hey, it was great coverage. Vernon Smith, I think, Montana's top coverage guy with 3 picks this year, is right there. He's turning around, and you just see it was thrown where Vernon couldn't get it. Only one guy could, and he did. He caught it for a touchdown.
Jay Williams from 22 yards out. The extra point is up, and it's good. And this game is tied with 4 minutes left in the first quarter. 7-7 as both teams strike through the air. And Wood had time, and Smith was there, but he just didn't play the ball, and Williams makes a great catch for 6. This offense was the most efficient offense in the Big Sky last year. Wood threw 23 touchdowns and only 5 interceptions a year ago in his first year as the starting quarterback for the Vikings, and off to a hot start tonight.
And Williams, a JC transfer from Mesa Junior College, a junior.
7 plays, 57 yards, a minute 21. They moved the ball quick.
Shouldn't have brought up that 21-21 first quarter score.
Here we go.
Because PSU's starting to click now. And one interesting thing, I know Joe Glenn talked about it earlier in the year, the head coach of the Montana Grizzlies, Portland State with 36 junior college and 4-year transfers. Montana with 6. So the different programs, sometimes a quick fix works. And Portland State's added a lot of new players here, but one of them just got a touchdown pass. Jay Williams.
Rory Zickman from his own 5-yard line. Following Levander Seegers. Now cuts it up the middle across the 30-35. Just about to the 37-yard line. Montana's looked good so far in their kick return game. 3:54 left. The ball game's tied at 7. Both John Edwards and Justin Wood have touchdown passes to their credit. As these two teams square off, Montana picked across the board by the media and the coaches before the season started to win the Big Sky Conference. Likewise, Portland State was picked across the board to finish 2nd.
Well, Montana's been ranked in the top 25 of the Sports Network's national poll, 133 of the past 136 weeks. That goes back to 1993. So they've been there, done that. Portland State ranked 13th right now. They want to be there and do that too.
Edwards hands off to J.R. Waller. Bounces and weaves his way up to the 40-yard line. Ben Wynn was the lead back that time. Of course, the Grizzlies banged up at that fullback position. Brad Weston hurt his neck 2 weeks ago against Weber State, and he's been out. Ben Wynn saw his first action last week, played well.
First pass, first catch of the year.
Caught a ball last week, that's right.
Freshman from Darby, Montana.
The Darby Tigers. Out of District 5B. Edwards, screen pass. Little flare out. J.R. Waller over the 50. Grizzlies now first down inside Portland State territory.
And that is such a dangerous weapon when you have a back with the strength and power and receiving ability as JR. And frankly, he struggled a bit last year as a freshman, catching the ball and kept working. Harvey Patton, the running backs coach, really worked with him, and that's a nice grab. And then he just puts his shoulder down and picks up a couple yards. And Renard Carey, number 3, with the tackle.
John Edwards now is 5 of 11 for 92 yards on the night. 3 wide, they'll go to Waller again. Another big hole. Pickup of 7 on first down. That makes Montana offensive coordinator Billy Cockhill very happy to have a 2nd and short.
Well,
might be a time to go up top right here.
Exactly.
Just
gives
makes
you so
the
many
play calling
opportunities.
so much easier.
So many opportunities, and of course, you know, Chris Snyder, Montana's junior field goal kicker, has been so effective the last couple games. Really had an early season slump. Let's face it, and has come on strong in the last several games, and he's got range from really 50 yards in.
Made a 57-yarder earlier this year. Jelani Harrison, a lot of room left side. Another first down, Montana. Harrison saw a lot of green as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage. He took it inside the 30.
Jelani took a good pop there, asked for a little relief. That means J.R. Waller, number 20, back in. Of course, Montana talked about it. Here it is, a nice power run. Comes down hard on that right knee. David Gober, Montana hoping to get freshman David Gober back in action next week at home against Northern Arizona. They're not sure yet. Number 3 running back would be 38, Pete Hamill would be the next guy in.
1st and 10. J.R. Waller diving and dancing and weaving down inside the 20. It's Montana really starting to control the line of scrimmage now. The offensive line is opening some gaping holes along the Viking front.
Well, we were down there before the game too, and this is an artificial surface. We watch the replay. This is not like sprint turf. This is like AstroTurf, which means a guy like JR, watch this cut right here. That initial cut, you can make it on this stuff. It's really sharp. It's also, you catch your feet a little more, but this is a good fast playing surface.
Very fast track. And they go to the speedster again. Waller, a sprint champion in high school. He's got some open room left side. It's stiff arm, gets him inside, and maybe right on the 10-yard line.
Good power move by J.R. Waller. And
Darius Brown again on the tackle. Darius Brown's getting sick of tackling Waller out in the open flat.
And we talked about this is a homecoming for JR and about 44 family friends, and it's got to be a great experience for him to have this early success only in the first quarter. And JR is racking up some numbers. He's already got about over 50 yards rushing here in this first quarter.
Montana can get another first down as the ball is just on the outside of the 10-yard line. So 1st and 10 from the 10.5. JR on inside give, this time only a gain of 1, maybe 2.
And Montana took the ball out of the shotgun that time, which not oftentimes, but a few times this year we've seen the same formation. John Edwards likes to do kind of a delayed draw in that particular play. And our Bruce Palmer, our referee, was signaling to this. I don't know what he was doing, signaling to the sidelines, but Montana picked up a couple there.
I believe what he did, it was 1st and goal. He told the sticks to set him down.
Okay.
So now it's 2nd and goal. Montana can't get a first down. There's flags in the play.
Well, I think that's a free play.
Had a free one there. It looks like someone started early on the Viking side.
I think the left defensive end for Portland State tried to get a quick jump, which means we may not get another play off. We got 13 seconds remaining here in this first quarter. And there you see the call, the encroachment call on the PSUD. Coach Walsh says, yeah, I saw it too, sorry.
Tim Walsh, now the longest tenured coach in Portland State history. This is his 10th season.
Half the distance
Tim
to the
Walsh,
goal. Replay, second down.
has been with this program, as you mentioned, 10 years, Tom, and Portland State joined the 1AA ranks in '96, so he's been with them in the transition, and he's been around for a while, been around the block for a while. And we'll see if Montana's, they're going to be close to getting it off, 5-4-3 and counting. They're not going to get a playoff here in this quarter.
First quarter comes to an end with the score even at 7 apiece. Would not expect anything less from these two clubs. We'll be back to start the second quarter after this. This game's tied at 7.
Get ready for the second quarter as Grizzly Gridiron Classics continues.
A lot of history in this ballpark for the Montana Grizzlies. We had talked about it at the Open, but Joe Glenn, last time he was in this stadium, he was coaching Northern Colorado, and they lost to the Vikings when Portland State was still a Division II program back in '91. And the Montana running backs coach, Harvey Patton, was a player for Joe at that time at Northern Colorado, and Harvey did not play in that game. He was banged up. Of course, Montana was here a couple years ago, but that game was not played here at PGE Park.
Montana likes to throw the ball up to number 2, Talmadge in this instance, 6'4" receiver against about a 5'9" cornerback there on the right side.
J.R. Waller, right side, couple of yards. It's going to be 3rd and goal for Montana from the 3-yard line.
Every now and then I'm right. I didn't get that one, but a little power football. And of course, when you're knocking on the door in the red zone like Montana is right here, you need to come out with 6 points. 3 points is obviously good, but to have 1st and goal from the 10 is a time when you want to cash in and get the 6 points and not the trade.
Well, this time John Talamich is out of the ball game. Tyler Peterson split out to the right side. Now he comes in motion. Ben Wynn, the fullback. Waller, the tail. The give to JR, and he's not going to get it. Not even close. Chris Snyder's going to come on to try to put 3 more on the board. The Vikings defense holds.
And they're looking to see where the ball is marked. It's about the 1 yard line. And you're right, Chris Snyder will come into the football game.
Snyder so shaky through his first 2 or 3 weeks, but then really got things turned around at Idaho. He made 4 kicks that were over 45 yards in that game.
Well, this is a PAT here pretty much. It's what is it, a 19-yard field goal?
19-yard attempt. You got it. And Snyder got it. 3 more for Montana. 10-7. Snyder boots it through, and his consistency continues to grow.
Well, Chris has hit 7 of his last 9 going into this, so he's now hit 8 of his last 10 field goal attempts. Did not have a field goal attempt last week against Southern Utah in that 68-45 shootout. And talk about a score that blew me away when I saw the final score here. St. Mary's of California goes to Southern Utah, beats them 24-14, holds Southern Utah to 14 points. St. Mary's must have a pretty darn good rush defense.
Better than Montana's.
I'll tell you what, that impressed me.
Don't tell Mike Bresky that, but
some more scores of interest, Tom, while I got a chance. Number 5, Maine defeats Hofstra 24-17. Number 14, William and Mary, we're talking 1AA football, 30-13 over Northeastern. Youngstown State gets shut out by Western Illinois at Western Illinois, 19-zip. Youngstown now 4-4. They're out of the playoff picture unless something weird happens in that league that I don't know about. Number 2, McNeese State rolls a 47-10 winner at Sam Houston State. There's some top 25 1AA scores for you.
It's the time of the year you start to think about playoff seedings and playoff berths, and Snyder puts this one 8 yards deep into the end zone. It'll be caught and down by Nick Swanigan. And the Vikings will start at the 20-yard line.
And that's one of the reasons why Chris Snyder was an all-conference selection last year. He did that with regularity. Some more scores for you. I mentioned App Stat. There's that final we talked about, Tom. Amazing. Sac State, the Hornets, obviously with that young quarterback Lettingham doing some things right on offense. They beat Eastern Washington at home by a touchdown. And Sac State Hornets coming to Montana here in a couple weeks. NAU next week in Missoula.
Eastern Washington's been pretty poor playing at home this season. Wood gives to Muhammad. Bounces it right side. The Grizzly pursuit's going to meet him at the line of scrimmage. Maybe a half a yard that time for Muhammad, who was here last year, but his first 2 years he was at the University of California. He played for the Cal Bears, so he's a transfer.
I'm not to take anything away from Muhammad, but I think they don't give him the ball every now and then just to try to keep the defense honest and not just completely focus on number 20, Fuquay, to carry the ball. Of course, Justin Wood, you know, he's got positive yardage this year. He's a decent ball carrier and a pretty good-sized kid, strong kid. So, and we've seen the option twice here by the Vikings.
The Grizzlies have called the timeout. Montana takes its first timeout of the first half. 10-7. Montana in control here in the second quarter. 3 wide for Justin Wood. Blitz coming. Gets it out to Jesse Levin for a pickup of about 5 yards on the play. Set up a 3rd and 6 for the Vikings, trying to come back and retake the lead or tie it if they could score on this drive. 10-7, the Grizzlies just went up in their last possession after Snyder nailed that field goal.
And Montana just called the timeout for some reason. Adam Hogue, 50, the linebacker, sophomore from Bozeman, went out. And they replaced him with Kyle Scholl, so they went to their dime package. I don't know if it was because it was a coverage situation or Hogue had an injury or an equipment problem, but that was the timeout there.
Wood. Complete to Jesse Levin. What a catch. Hit him between the numbers, and then it slid down, and I think he ended up with it between his knees, but either way, it goes down as a reception and a first down.
Well, it looks like he dropped it, caught it, and dropped it, and then caught it again. really pretty good coverage by the Grizzlies here. Kind of a wobbler by Wood. You see, he trapped it against his body. Nice catch. That's what you call using everything you got.
Whatever works, I guess. Levin had over 900 yards last year receiving, so he knows how to get it done. That's for sure. Fuqua got some room on the right side, gaining 9 yards.
There was that speed. Looked like he was contained, just put on the extra burst.
Late flag came in, and I believe they're going to get...
I think it's going to be a late hit, maybe. Personal foul on Montana. No, he signaled it wrong. It was a late hit, I believe. I don't want to single out any player, but I will watch it here. Handoff. And no, we're not going to be able to see it here. But you can see
referee Bruce Palmer came running over and pointed at Justin Wood and said something after he flew the flag.
So it could have been a taunting thing. Could have been a late hit. We didn't see it. It was off camera. We were watching Fuqua run around the right side. And
well, Trey Young came on a backside blitz. He was the only guy in the neighborhood. Could have been Trey Young.
Yep, could have been.
Hitting Wood a little bit late.
And once again, PSU, the Vikings moving the football very effectively here on this drive.
First down inside Grizzly territory, and now the Portland State Viking faithful starting to cheer, and this place is getting loud. Fuqua dances outside. He's across the 30, 25. First down yardage for the sophomore out of Ontario, California. This kid didn't become a starter until the 6th game last year, and he still went for 1,500 yards.
Excellent cut. He saw there wasn't anything there, went off right tackle, and just a straight arm there, then speed. Cornerback Vernon Smith had to drag him down, number 11.
Mike Bresky says that Fuqua is very scary at the point of attack, but if he gets into the open field, he can be downright terrifying. As we said, he's got quick feet, he's got that extra gear where he can really turn down the speed. 1st and 10 from the 23. 3 wide. The give to Muhammad. He's over the 20-yard line. Another good pickup on first down, and now the Vikings starting to establish their presence along the offensive front. Five yards on the carry for Muhammad. His stats on the night, 16 yards now on 3 attempts.
And we talked about the different look these teams have now with much more effective running games. Number 20 and number 9, even number 2 Wood even gets in the act sometimes.
Jackson split to the far side. They go up the middle though. Fuqua has another first down. Vikings rolling down the field against this Montana defense.
And good old power football. Of course, Montana, which runs most of the time, it's nickel package on defense with the 2 linebacker look and the extra defensive back, which means you're probably not quite as strong against the run as you'd like to be. Although some of those athletes are, the 6 foot, 200-pound range. They're good against the run, but not quite maybe as effective as big up front to move.
Both receivers to the far side. 2 tight ends in the ball game. Fuqua stays on the ground up the middle. Nothing doing. Andy Thompson got there first to make the stop for Montana. That'll bring up 2nd and 10.5 for Portland State. Get a good look right there at Joel Robinson, the Mike linebacker in this defense for Mike Bresky. And Fuqua didn't have much anyways, but Andy Thompson made sure as he got him from behind.
And the PSU, in fact, looks like they can get a first down at about the 1-yard line if they can get it down there.
Yes, the sticks are up. They can definitely get a first down without scoring a touchdown.
Free play for the Vikings.
And the official's going to blow it dead. 9:25 left here in the second quarter rather. 10-7, Grizzlies on top.
Looked like a safety blitz that the safety just tried to get a head start on there, and
offsides, contact by the defense.
Could not catch his feet.
The distance to the goal.
Unfortunate in this situation. 5 yards is huge when you get down into the red zone. And that's what Montana will have to give up, 5 yards on the penalty.
And it was Joel Robinson who was coming
The linebacker
and lost his footing and tried to slow himself down and couldn't do it before he hit the line of scrimmage. So now 2nd and 5, and again, the Vikings could get a first down here without getting into the end zone. Ball's on the 6 and 2nd and 5. Flag on the play, the speed option to the right side, and Wood's going to get wrapped up with a very short gain. I think the man in motion started going forward a little bit too early.
I think Montana was offsides again. And I think that's the early indication. So Montana shooting himself in the foot a bit here. Back-to-back encroachment penalties. And I think that one will give them a first down. And goal from the 1. Them being Portland State Vikings.
Side defense, half the distance to the goal. Still 2nd down.
Half the distance. It's not a 5-yard penalty.
Well, you were right. Montana offsides, and that's 2 times in a row now.
There you see Joe Glenn. Joe Glenn, of course, the Montana head coach, is 17-0 in the Big Sky Conference and 35-3 in his 3rd season at Montana.
The Grizzlies in danger of falling behind in this game. Power backfield. It's Hester Muhammad and Fuquay, and Fuquay close to the first down. It's going to be close. I don't think he has it, but he's going to be close.
I think he's about a yard away. Nice surge by the Montana defensive front. And oftentimes in this situation, you see everybody go up the middle, and the back quarterback just kind of walks around the end. Might be an option opportunity. I think they've run that 3 times now, the Portland State Vikings, and a couple times effectively. One time it didn't work.
Again, with the stacked backfield, they have a tight end, Tim Hester, back there, along with Muhammad and Fuquay. Fuquay gets the call, stretches, no signal, 6 points.
There it is. Great effort by Fuquay. He just reached over. Of course, it's the point of the football. And from our vantage point, we could not tell. We're at the 40-yard line, so we're about 60 yards away from the touchdown. Touchdown number 7 on the year for Fuquay rushing. Here you see it. Just good second effort. Dangerous in that when you hold the ball out like that, it could get popped out, but the Vikings take the lead on that touchdown.
And the extra point is good. 14-10, Vikings on top by virtue of their star sophomore, number 20, Ryan Fuquay. 14-10, Portland State on top. Kickoff is underway. Levander Seegers.
Another flag down.
Fielded the return. He takes it up just over the 15, and like you said, Dave, another piece of yellow on the field, and that's going to be against Montana. Back him up. There it is, initial signal from our referee. Bruce Palmer is a block in the back, and the Grizzlies in a little bit of trouble here, down 14-10, and now starting with bad field position.
When you look at the scoring drive, and I'm not sure if the guys put it up yet, they're probably working on the graphics now, but when you're eating up 5.5 minutes in a scoring drive, that's what you want to do. You want to keep the ball away from whoever you're playing. In this case, of course, Montana.
Against the return team, half the distance from the spot of the foul.
Montana once again with very poor field position. Field position so huge in determining what you can call offensively. You got to be more conservative down here because the turnover is a killer down there.
The fans here in Portland have been hungry for this game since last year when Montana beat the Vikings up in Missoula, and boy, would they love to stop the Grizzlies' attack again right now. Screen play to J.R. Waller. His blocking kind of fell apart in front of him, and he's not going to pick up more than a couple of yards on the play. Good stop once again. There's this Viking defense, and in talking to Montana offensive coordinator Billy Cockhill this week, he said that this Viking defense is running to the ball better than they ever have. They've got better speed on defense, and as a group, they're tackling and running better, and they've shown that so far tonight.
Well, that's almost like a running play. It's a good safe call. You're hoping the back can break it out, give you a little field position. Montana running down the play clock here. They better get this off. They're going to get another penalty.
5 seconds on the play clock. Edwards gets it off.
They did.
Across the middle to number 1, LV. Seegers takes a big hit, then got over the 20-yard line. But Seegers was lit up.
Well, and that was a good hit, but also Levander Seegers had slowed down, so he was pretty much set up on the play. And I think it was number 40.
It was Brett Donnerberg. Grizzlies go up the middle, and not much doing on first down. Waller, the carry.
And you might remember about 2 or 3 series ago for Montana offensively, 26, Jelani Harrison got hit hard on a really nice play, first down rush, and we haven't seen him back in the game since. Not sure what his status is, but he has not returned since leaving the game after that big hit.
Man in motion is Levander Seegers. Edwards with time. Out to counter Malloy, his tight end. Malloy carries tacklers up close to first down yardage, and he's got a first down. Sophomore out of Helena comes up with a big play as the Grizzlies trying to get out of their side of the field and start to win back the field position battle.
Montana going to the no-huddle offense. Connor Malloy, 6'5", 250. He's a load to bring down in the open field.
He's a great athlete. 2 tight ends again for Montana. Waller. Gain of 3. Ben Wynn leading the way again.
It almost looked like Portland State and the right side of the D-line had jumped there. No flag, however. Montana staying in that no-huddle offense, trying to keep the PSU defense a little off balance and, have their own scoring drive of their own. Montana with 1 touchdown so far today.
Here comes the blitz. Edwards eludes the pressure. And now he's bottled up, but he'll gain 3 yards on the play. And a good job of getting away as the blitz was coming from the right side. The cornerback snuck up. Nick Swanigan was coming. Edwards felt that more than he saw it. Was able to get out of the way, but now another third down, 3rd and 5, and here comes the noise from the Viking fan club here at PG Park. 4 wide, John Edwards coming this way. Levander Seegers has got it, and he's got a first down.
And like I said earlier, he's just hard to bring down because he's so strong. And of course, his quickness doesn't hurt him any. That's a quick hitter. And if you're a defensive back in that kind of coverage, there's just almost nothing you can do to stop a quick hitting pass like that if it's thrown right, the timing's right.
Seegers 3 catches on the night, 27 yards. That one was for a first down. Willie Walden and Connor Malloy in the ball game, 2 tight end set. Big hole left side on the cutback for JR.
Big hole is right. I don't know who was the lead block there, but I think I might have had a chance through that hole, at least a brief chance.
Let's not get carried away.
Okay, you're right. J.R. Waller, though, showing a good burst and good enough for first down yardage, as a matter of fact.
Your son could have gotten through it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he can run. Yeah, I should.
They had a big win last night.
Congratulations, Hellgate. High school got a big win last night. Congratulations to the Knights. They needed that one. We all needed that one.
Edwards comes, same play that we saw 2 plays ago to Seegers on the left side. Flags coming in late. Looks like a face mask call.
And I think the face mask call, I think they're going to get a hold or maybe an illegal block. Connor Malloy, once again, you're that lead blocker. The guy turns on you. It's a fine line. Yep. Block in the back is what they call it. And it's just tough because you're in such a bad position. And we'll see here. And the defensive back turns around. Connor, really, his momentum carried him into the play. It was a good call by the official. There it was.
That's a tough one when your own volition.
Above the waist, offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the
Montana was really had a pretty nice drive going here. Still does, of course, but that slows them down a little. Still in the no-huddle mode. John Edwards, as usual, the Billings product at QB for Montana.
So Malloy's momentum backs the Grizzlies up now, and it's 1st and 15, and the draw to Waller. And he's not going to get much that time, the Viking front. bottled him up. Kevin Haston made the initial hit.
37 tackles on the season. Haston, Montana's gone to Levander Seegers 2 or 3 times in that quick hitch. Maybe they're trying to set something up down here on that. Let's keep an eye on that one. May happen sooner or later.
Little stop and go move.
Yep.
Edwards comes this way, and Dave Guffey called it, but Seegers ran it in, and Edwards threw the ball to the outside. The safety came over to help that time, but that's exactly what it was. It was a stop and go.
And that's what you hope. You hope the safety doesn't read this, and the receiver reacts on where the DB goes. And Edwards and Seegers weren't on the same page there. I'm not sure if Levander could have got to that one. Anyway, nice coverage by the free safety, the strong safety, excuse me, Jamal Abdullah, a redshirt freshman from Tacoma.
It's now a big third down. 3rd and 14. PGE Park's getting loud again. Split backs. Seegers is double covered. Edwards has got nowhere to go. Right side, he can run up towards the 40, but he's still going to be shy of 3rd down yardage as he had some green in front of him, but it collapsed quickly as the Vikings regrouped. Edwards was looking left the whole way for Levander Seegers, but double coverage, and then he had to run for his life.
And he had Waller in the flat over here, but he was going the opposite side of the field. That's a dangerous pass to throw across the field. Montana, once again, forced to punt.
3 minutes, 20 seconds left in the first half. Here comes Mark Spencer trying to drop one inside the 10-yard line to back up the Vikings. Fielded at the 10-yard line and brought up to the 13 by Steve Shinnon, and that's where the Vikings will take over. Portland State on top, 14-10, late second quarter. Well, after 27 minutes of play, the Montana win streak is definitely in jeopardy here in Portland. 14-10, the Vikings on top, and they have the ball as they look to extend their lead. Option out to the right side. Fuquay bobbles it, then gets it back, but he's not going to get much. Adam Hogue on the tackle.
And boy, that's a scary play to run that close to your end zone by Portland State. Of course, number 20, if he turns that corner, who knows what happens, but Wood with a little kind of a high pitch there. And if I'm the Montana defense, I'm sure keying on 20 and not 2. And what you want to try to do is turn him inside to maybe cut some of that speed down, but Fuquay never had a chance to get going there. I knew I'd say Fuqua once. That's the way you pronounced it last year.
His name has changed.
Yes.
Depends who you ask is what we were told. Trey Young coming on a blitz. Wood gets it off complete out to Jackson, and Antonio Jackson up over the 15-yard line where it'll be 3rd down and 7. Let's take a look at the second trivia question tonight. Don Adson, Ford Grizzly Trivia. In the years that Don Reed coached Portland State, his teams played the Grizzlies 9 times. What was his win-loss record against the Grizz?
In Montana calling timeout, they want to prevent this 3rd down conversion by Portland State, get the ball back in decent field position if they can stop them right now. And okay, there's a trivia. Let me see. Okay.
You got it?
No, I don't have it, but I do remember. I think he might have lost the first one at home, like 17-3, that he played against them, but he didn't lose a lot more.
He lost 6 of them, 3 and 6 against
Ouch.
the Grizz when he was at Portland State.
Oh, it was I was okay. My bad.
You didn't understand the question, did you?
No, I did not. I was thinking when he was at Montana, because I know Pokey Allen, the former coach, he was a former Grizz assistant coach, Missoula guy, and lost Pokey a few years back to cancer. Great person, coached here, knew him really well. He really turned his program around when he came here, and he brought a team into Missoula and knocked off the Grizzlies, which doesn't happen very often in Washington Grizzly Stadium. That's the game I was thinking of when Don Reed was the head coach of Montana. So thanks for covering for me.
Yeah,
there,
no
Tom.
problem, no problem. Third and long, 3 wide, Muhammad and Fuquay. Split eye. Wood has time. Complete to Jackson. First down. Up close to the 30-yard line. Well, coming up at halftime, don't go away. We're going to have local news for you. We're going to send it back to Montana for local news update. Plus, we'll have a look at all the first half highlights and statistics. That's coming up at the half. So stay with us.
Boy,
and you and I will go get something to eat.
That sounds good to me. Justin Wood doesn't look like a guy who's thrown 9 interceptions and 6 touchdown passes. Looked very sharp this evening. Don't know what his numbers are. 9 for 12, which is 75%, 98 yards and a touchdown. Those are good numbers for Wood.
He's had time to throw the ball. Play fake. Again, Wood has time. Going deep down the right seam, and he overshot Jay Williams, who earlier scored a touchdown.
He threw that ball from the 20-yard line. The receiver was about on the 28, so there's your basic 50-some yard pass, and he had too much juice on it. But you got to like this call. Let's go for a big play. Decent field position. Really pretty good time. 1:40 until halftime. Justin Wood aired it out there.
Our next telecast comes up in 2 weeks. Join us live in Missoula as the Sacramento State Hornets will come to Washington Grizz to take on these Montana Grizzlies. That game takes place Saturday the 9th at noon. We'll have that one for you.
And of course, Sacramento
live.
State victorious today.
Trey Young on a blitz, and he got him. Didn't get a whole lot of Justin Wood, but it was enough. The Buck Buchanan Award candidate, Trey Young, makes his presence felt for the first time tonight.
7th sack of the season for Trey Young, the senior Buchanan Award candidate, as you said, Tom, from San Diego, California. And his folks are here. His dad, Ed, travels all over the country from San Diego to watch his son play. Great effort by Trey. Speed play. And Justin, for once, Wood, the quarterback, did not have a lot of time because he's had a good time. 1:28, Tom, and in Montana, I'm sure after this, it's another third down at the conversion attempt by PSU. They've been pretty successful so far tonight. Very successful, actually 5 for 7, and that'll win you some football games. That third down efficiency and, of course, field position, I think, and are two of the unsung magical statistics, if you will. They're crucial.
Well, and that we've seen, except on that last play, Justin Wood has had all day to throw the football.
He really has, and that's because you just got to play the run on us too. You can't just go all out rush. You've got to wait and see if number 20's got the football.
It's been a nice balance so far from the Vikings. 3 wide on 3rd and long. 1:28 to go in the first half with the Vikings up 14-10. Wood gonna get brought down from behind. He had time initially, and then the pocket collapsed.
A little extracurricular activity going down here at the 40-yard line with a couple of Grizz defensive backs and a PSU wide receiver. And that's, if you want to throw the ball 50, 40 yards downfield, you almost have to have too much time. Justin Wood ran out of it. Guess who? Lance Spencer, the redshirt freshman from Malta, just gets better and better. And as he gets stronger and bigger, well, he's just going to be a great one, I think, because he can run. He's
going to be scary. He's good now, and he's still real young. Seegers not going to get a chance to field this punt. Takes a sideways bounce and goes out of bounds to the 45-yard line. So with 35 seconds left, that's plenty of time for John Edwards to complete a couple passes and get into range for a Chris Snyder field goal attempt.
Okay, what do we got? What do we got in our bag of tricks? We got the halfback pass. We've got, one that
How about the double pass?
Where they were working on the double pass. One they were working on is a pass back to Edwards. Edwards, has a kind of a backwards pass, and I'm trying to think of who throws that one. I know they tried Levander. That didn't work. I think it was Dane Oliver or Tate Hancock, but you might see one of those, or you might see, just a quick hitter to see what can happen. PSU does not have enough players on the field, so they call a quick timeout.
We'll keep it right here. Vikings take a timeout. Want to say hi to all the stations across Montana that are watching our broadcast tonight. KPAX-TV in Missoula, KAJ in Kalispell, KRTV in Great Falls, KXLF in Butte, folks in Helena watch on KXLH, KBZK in Bozeman, and of course KTVQ Q2 up in Billings.
We don't have the only Big Sky Conference game of pretty big proportions. Montana State at Northern Arizona is a biggie. Northern Arizona needs to win that football game. 2-2 now in the league, and of course, Montana State thumped Weber last week. They're 1-1. Weber State at Idaho State. I don't know if Weber State can win at Idaho State. Here's a score, early score. I'm really not trying to make myself sound good. Idaho State leading that game 21-0, 14:55 in the third. Early score from Northern Arizona, Montana State with a 3-0 lead with 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. And of course, we gave you that final. Sac State wins at Eastern Washington 48-41.
So 35 seconds left for the Grizzlies to try to get some points on the board. 4 wide, and Edwards going for John Talmadge, is wide open, down to the 25-yard line, and big John Talmadge makes another big play.
Well, the leading receiver for the Grizzlies as far as touchdown catches entered the game with 4, and at 6'4", he gives you that big target. And, Montana, of course, burned those first downs to try to have this exact opportunity. So now it's definitely hurry-up offense time.
No timeouts left for Montana. Edwards spikes the ball. That'll set up a 2nd and 10. And Talmadge just found the seam and sat down between coverage, and that was an easy throw for Edwards to make.
You get past the corner, and oftentimes the corner is 10, 12 yards deep. Then you get in between him and the safety. This is usually the best area because that middle is usually clogged up by that free safety. And John Edwards, a nice pass.
Jamal Abdullah came over a little bit late that time and enabled Talmadge to get the reception and set up the Grizzlies for a shot at the end zone. Same formation. He wants Talmadge again, and he's got John Talmadge inside the 15 and a first down.
We got 22 seconds to go until halftime. The Grizz knocking on the door. And how many times do you say to yourself, well, why didn't they do this earlier? Well, because you got a different pass rush, you got different coverage, you guys are playing 15, 20 yards back in the old prevent defense, and it gives you more opportunities.
No doubt the Vikings will start to tighten the screws right now, though, with 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line. Waller in the backfield. Flags on the play.
And as you see the flag in the play, the officials stop play. 5 receivers out for Montana in different areas of the football field. And got to think this is some type of procedure call on the Grizzlies.
To 22 seconds. Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
That'll back Montana up to their own, to the 21-yard line.
Frankly, in this situation, that doesn't hurt you that much. It gives you a little more running room, gives you a little more open space. Montana, of course, in the hurry-up offense, you tend to make mistakes maybe a little easier because you're trying to rush, get plays going.
The ball is set, and it's marked. And now another whistle. Well, both the officials in the backfield and our referee, Bruce Palmer, were looking at each other, and there was some confusion before that ball was even set.
See, Tom, you just, about, 10 minutes ago, you said, boy, this game's really moving fast.
I did, didn't I?
And it was, because both teams like to run the football, and I'm not, the official is indicating for someone to, I don't know if it's the band, I don't know what it is, to indicate stop playing, doing whatever you're doing, and must have worked because we're playing here again.
We're playing football now.
Yes, we are.
22 seconds left, and this is serious football for Montana. And another flag. Boy, this is getting old.
Well, I do hear the band playing now that I think about it, but I don't think that's the penalty.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's a 5-yard penalty.
It's going to be another procedure against the Grizzlies.
False start, offense, 5-yard penalty.
Didn't see anybody start. Now, oftentimes, if you got 2 guys in motion, they'll call that a procedure penalty. I'm going to look for number 2, Talmadge, deep, just to use that height. Edwards, of course, needs the time to pull that off. He's lined up wide right.
He's got time, goes over to Big John, who goes up. Complete, and he gets out of bounds to stop the clock. More importantly, 18 ticks left now. Grizzlies back up just inside the 20-yard line.
Now, this is where you really have to be careful because you don't want to blow a field goal opportunity. You know, you're at the 19, so you're talking a 36-yard field goal from right here. So if you're Montana, what you want to do, whatever you want to do, if you catch the ball, either get out of bounds or get down so that the Grizzlies can spike the ball, stop the clock, and try a field goal.
Edwards wants the jump ball with John Talmadge. Almost a one-handed catch, incomplete.
And Talmadge looking at the official, that's Bob Holloway, who also is a basketball official, looking at Bob going, Bob, was that not interference? Almost a great catch by Talmadge. Edwards put this pretty much where it had to be. John, here it is, go up and get it. And I just looked like pretty good coverage into a crowd there.
Nick Swanigan on the coverage. He's only 5'9". Talmadge 6'4". That's the matchup the Grizzlies want. And they've got it again.
13 seconds till halftime.
I say go back to Big John right here. No, across the middle, Dane Oliver. Down to the 1-yard line, ball pops out. They mark him down at the 1. But now Montana's got to get up and spike the ball.
So they've got the first down. And what do you do here? You need to spike it or maybe even quarterback sneak. But then if you quarterback sneak, you're out of time.
Oh, they're going to spike this one and talk about it. No doubt.
Yep. And 3 seconds, you got to kick a field goal. If you try to get it in there and you don't, you have no points.
Big play from Dane Oliver.
It really was. And
I don't see Chris Snyder coming out yet.
Dane, of course, back in his home state of Monmouth. He's from Monmouth, Oregon. And you can't say it's a play of the game because you're in the first half of the game, but this could be a biggie right here for the Montana Grizzlies.
And boy, oh boy, this place is getting loud now. Both Grizz fans and Viking fans rather, on their feet.
Option.
John Edwards, quarterback sneak. No signal. They're not going to give it to him. Stopped. 14-10 is the halftime score, and this place is going nuts. The Grizzlies roll the dice, and they lose the gamble. 0-0's on the clock, and it's 14-10. The Hornets are fired up. What a momentum turner that was.
And Montana rolled the dice, and from up here, it looked like Edwards was darn close, but once again, we're from the 40-yard line. Here you see the replay. You call it at home.
That's too tough to tell.
Yeah, you can't tell from here. We'd have to see a camera shot from the side. Like I said, he was close, but the official all over it. Montana took a gamble, and they take a 4-point deficit here at halftime.
14-10. We're going to send it back for some local news. We'll be back with the first half stats and highlights after this. At the break, Vikings on top, 14-10.
The second half of Grizzly Gridiron Classics starts now.
Tonight's Big Sky Conference football game between the Montana Grizzlies and the Portland State Vikings is brought to you by Lucky Lil's and Magic Diamond Casinos, a division of Town Pump across Montana. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Montana. The Montana Wood Products Association, promoting healthy forests and healthy communities through management of Montana's forests. Universal Athletic Service, for the athlete in all of us. And CarQuest Auto Parts stores. With over 4,000 CarQuest Auto Parts stores, you'll find it at CarQuest.
After tonight, there's just 4 weeks left in the Big Sky Conference season, and these Montana Grizzlies will be home 3 out of those 4 weeks. The remaining schedule for the national champs next week at home against Northern Arizona. Stay at home 2 weeks in a row as the Hornets come to town. That game you can see right here on the Montana Television Network. November 15th, they'll be at Eastern Washington. We'll have that for you as well, right here on Montana's Television Network. And then Cat Grizz on the 22nd of November.
Actually, it's the 23rd. It's the 102nd meeting. And that Eastern Washington game I wanted to mention is, as in the past, is going to be played in Spokane at Joe Albee Stadium, not in Cheney. For all you Grizz fans who want to make that drive over to through Idaho to Spokane.
A little bit better drive than the drive down to Ogden, huh? that we had a couple weeks ago.
Just a little quicker.
Want to pass along a happy birthday wish to a little Grizz fan back in Missoula. Youngster by the name of Weston Gibbs, celebrating his 4th birthday today. Happy birthday to you, Weston.
Happy birthday.
Sure, he's on pins and needles along with a lot of Grizz fans right now. At halftime, 14-10. The Vikings looking to put one on the number 1 team in the country and to break a 21-game conference winning streak. Chris Snyder set to kick it off. Ball into the end zone 2 yards deep, and they're going to come out. Here comes Hashim Hall. He's got a crease right side. He's got a lot of room. 35, 36-yard line. Snyder over there helping to make the tackle. Hall came in averaging 28 yards per return, tops in the Big Sky Conference. Took that one about 38 yards.
35. You don't get, you just get credit from the end zone on. They changed that rule quite a few years ago. So our school record, Milt Popovich, a 102-yard return, that'll never be broken.
Milt's got that one locked down.
Milt did that back in, I think, 36, 35. That one's held for a while from Butte, America.
1st and 10. Good field position for the Vikings as they begin the second half, leading 14-10. The dive to Fuquay, and he gets a few yards.
Talked about the onset, how Montana had changed up their D a little. Trey Young in the nickel, kind of a rover back position, and moved Kevin Edwards to safety. And of course, Dave DeCoit back in action. DeCoit, the junior from Truckee, California, missed last week's game, recovering from a concussion that he suffered at the Weber State game.
Trey Young coming on a blitz. Wood completes. A little dump down to Antonio Jackson.
And talking about Kevin Edwards, good coverage there, but it puts the Vikings in 3rd and short now on this opening drive of the 3rd quarter.
Justin Wood was a teammate with Antonio Jackson at David Douglas High School in Portland, so these two have been throwing the ball to each other for a number of years.
And Fuquay entered the game as one of the top receivers for the Vikings, the dangerous guy out of that backfield, carrying and catching the football.
2 tight end set, 2 wide. Fuquay in motion. Wood goes to him out in the flat, and he's got a lot of room. He's across the 50-yard line, near the 44 or 43. He started to move in motion, and there was no one to pick him up in the flat. And he had nothing but green in front of him.
A lot of green, and the Grizzlies, a thorn in their side over the season has been like halfbacks and tight ends, especially halfbacks. So hard to cover. Oftentimes, the linebackers on the course. Montana plays a lot of that nickel coverage with the 2 linebackers, gives you a little more speed in the secondary. But if that play's run right, it's pretty darn hard to stop.
The Vikings will stick with the 2 tight ends and 2 backs. Fuquay bouncing around. Tim Bush brings him to the ground. No gain on the play.
And Tim Bush is just one of those guys. Normally, if he gets your hands on a back or quarterback, they're going to go down. Strong kid, very quick. And, of course, a little added pressure on him, if you will, with the loss of C.J. Pitcher to an injury. Got young Lance Spencer playing the right defensive end, a great up-and-comer, but a redshirt freshman learning on the job, so to speak. And he's, as we also say, he's getting better and better. But a lot of pressure on that freshman from Malta.
Fuquay gonna reverse field, looking for a block from Justin Wood. Cuts it up. He made a couple yards, made something out of absolutely nothing.
There you see why at number 11, Vernon Smith, is so highly thought after. This is a great play by Vernon Smith. Fuquay actually, if he could have turned the corner, got around number 11, who knows how many yards he could have picked up. Vernon Smith, a junior from San Diego.
Vernon Smith's got the size, the speed, and the ball skills where a lot of folks think he's got a shot to play at the next level.
6 for 9 third down conversions for the Vikings. That's pretty darn successful. 67%.
3rd and long. a dart to the right side and another first down for the Vikings. Wood had the time, and he found Deontay Taylor on the money, hit him right between the 8 and the 2, and the Vikings are on the march.
And you talked to Mike Bresky before the game, Tom, and he said the person that scares him the most between Fuquay and Wood is probably Wood, and that's a pretty scary combo right there. Justin Wood really playing very, very well, very confident back there, passing for a very high percentage, 12 of 16, so that's a 75%. That's pretty darn good.
126 yards through the air, and of course the one touchdown pass to Jay Williams. He took a big hit this time. The ball was thrown inside. The receiver turned outside. And Viking fans are lucky that Wood's getting up right now because he took a shot to the knees from Lance Spencer and Tim Bush that looked like it might have kept him down, but he got up.
And here you see the replay. Still pretty good time. He was throwing the ball about 35 yards downfield. Dave DeCoit was not even looking at the ball. He was looking at the man in the coverage. Might have had a shot at that ball if he could have looked up a little quicker.
Had Jesse Levin turned inside, that would have been a touchdown.
And Levin, of course, is kind of an interesting story in that he started his collegiate football career at Idaho State and transferred to Portland State.
3 wide. Wood with time. Incomplete. Actually, and now here comes a flag, a late flag on the play. And they're going to call pass interference on the Montana Grizzlies. Levin actually started at Idaho State, then went to San Francisco Community College, and then came here.
Right. Got his AA. And
he's been around.
So the penalty bug once again bites Montana.
That'll be the Grizzlies' 10th penalty of the game. Get the call here from our referee.
Pass interference, defense, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
Well, you know, every now and then I have what's called a mystery call. As I watch the replay here, I'm going to have to call that a mystery call. I don't see pass interference here. I see Vernon Smith going to the ball. That ball was uncatchable as well. I don't agree with that call. And I'm the color guy. I can do that, right?
That's your prerogative. You bet. Flags again. And a game that started out with a quick pace, starting to slow down a little bit now.
Well, there's nothing worse than a lot of penalties in a game. It slows down the flow of everything, especially, of course, offensively.
On the offense, 5-yard penalty.
I think that's only Portland State's
Still
second penalty of the football game. And if you're in the third quarter with 2 penalties, you're doing okay so far in that category.
The Vikings penalized twice for 10 yards. The Grizzlies 10 times for 83. 11:49 left in the third quarter. The option to Fuquay, and he drops it. Ball's on the ground. Who's got it? Still on the ground. I don't know. Tim Bush had a couple of shots at it, and Tim Bush has got it. Montana ball. Big play from a big-time player.
Well, and Tim Bush did what you're not supposed to do, try to pick it up and run with it. No, it wasn't Tim Bush, it was someone else.
Blake Horgan.
Yeah, here it is.
Well, Horgan had it first.
He's going to try to pick it up. Get on that, baby. And he did, and that's a big turnover. Portland State knocking on the door.
Vikings have had trouble with that pitch. 3 times, I believe now. Yep. Fuquay has bobbled that. Once the pitch was high from Wood, the other 2 times, Fuquay is just taking his eye off the ball. So now Montana sets up shop for the 31. J.R. Waller, straight ahead. Good pickup on first down.
And as you mentioned at halftime, Tom, Jelani Harrison, and actually had a couple carries, pretty successful carries, was banged up on the second carry after a first down carry. We haven't seen him since. And David Gober unable to go with that ankle sprain. So you've got Pete Hamill, the sophomore from Coeur d'Alene, number 38, who can go to work back there too. But we're not sure if Jelani Harrison may be done for maybe today's game or not. We're not sure.
I formation, Ben Wynn, the lead back. They go behind Wynn. It's good enough for a first down. Against Idaho State on homecoming in Missoula, the Grizz offensive line took over in the fourth quarter and won that ball game. They're going to need to have that same kind of drive right here and then later as this second half progresses if they're going to win this game?
Well, the third quarter, of course, is big. Fourth quarter is about conditioning and heart. And Montana's got plenty of that, and Portland State does too. I think Portland State, the fact they're leading, that sure gives you some incentive, keeps your heart in there. And we talked about how huge this game was for both teams in the overall picture of the Big Sky Conference.
Edwards, John Talmadge, dances across the 50-yard line. Close to a first down.
Very efficient first down play. Talmadge, as all good receivers do, he catches the ball with his hands, not his body. And when you're 6'4", you got to reach out there. You can give yourself some options, but grabs it, nice hands, and just gets better every game. Only a redshirt freshman, number 2, John Talmadge.
By the time that kid gets done, he's going to have his name in the record books at Montana. 2 tight ends, Willie Walden and Connor Malloy. Straight ahead. Waller up to the 40-yard line.
And just power football there. JR is so hard to see coming out of there at 5'9", and yet so powerful too. Look how low he stays. Nice block there by Derek Decker, number 62.
Waller approaching the century mark on the night. 18 carries, 93 yards.
You could have called a face mask penalty right there. It looked like it was close, actually part of the helmet.
Levander Seeger's in motion behind Dane Oliver. Talmadge bobbles it, but catches it. He would have been better to let that one hit the turf. Loss of 2 on the play.
Those are dangerous. Montana has really not got a screen pass untracked yet. That's about their 3rd attempt. And of course, the one was almost intercepted the very first series of the game by Kleinert, but the Grizzlies usually have a little more success in that play. There you see JR's numbers, pretty impressive so far for the freshman from Portland, Oregon.
That's a play that Atu Molden made famous last couple of years. This time, Edwards overshoots Talmadge.
Oh, the Montana contingent here moaning on that play. Talmadge got his feet tangled up with a defensive back, and really pretty good coverage. Trying to get in between that zone again to Talmadge, and Montana faced with a 3rd down conversion, where so far this evening the Grizzlies are 3 for 7 in that category, which is decent. You like a little higher percentage, but it's decent.
3rd and a long ways. 13 yards to the stick. They got to get it now. Edwards gets out of trouble, comes back across the middle. Connor Malloy brings it in. First down, Montana.
And what a good effort by both quarterback John Edwards and Connor Malloy not to give up on that ball. John had to throw across his body, going from his right through to the middle of the field. And John bought himself some time, stepping up in the pocket, threw it over the defensive end. And Connor Malloy with a tip drill. Well, he run that baby in practice.
And he was a pretty good basketball player, too.
He was a darn good basketball player, all-state basketball player. And, of course, didn't play football till his senior year.
And it's just amazing.
He's a talent. Just needs to get more confidence. Maybe that'll help him along his way.
Tight ends come out of the ball game, 4 wide for Edwards. Picked off up to the 20-yard line and close to the 25. Kevin Haston, the middle linebacker, a gift.
And I'm not sure who John was throwing the ball to there.
Right,
no, really not.
To him.
It ricocheted off another Portland State defensive back. Let's see.
Actually, was it Haston or was it Brent Donenberg?
Well, here we go. Here's a replay. It went through 44's hand.
It went through Haston right to Donenberg. So Donenberg with the interception. Grizzly drive is stalled 14-10. We'll come right back after this. The interception from Brent Donenberg gives the ball back to the Vikings, and they're up 14-10. First down from the 25. Muhammad in motion. Wood's going to call number 9's number, incomplete. A little short in the play. A couple of Vikings had a chance at that. It went through Kevin Haston's hands, that interception, and Brett Donenberg was the guy who came up with it, and Edwards picked off at a bad time as the Grizzlies were really starting to move the ball.
Well, Montana just got a huge break, too, on a bad pitch by Wood to Fuqua, recovered by Tim Bush. They were on the 25-yard line knocking on the door. They mean Portland State, and then Montana apparently Dane Oliver had slipped in that pass that play you said, Tom, which I didn't see. So the receiver went down, and hence the interception by PSU.
Muhammad on the dive. Takes it up across the 30-yard line. There's 8 minutes left in the third quarter. And the Vikings are trying to prove all of the prognosticators wrong, that they won't finish second, that they can knock off the Grizzlies. Of course, the Vikings already have one conference loss. However, a win here would put them right in the thick of things with Montana for the race for the Big Sky Conference Championship. Not only a conference championship, but what comes along with that is the automatic bid into the postseason. 3 wide, split backs. Muhammad and Fuqua. Trey Young's coming. Wood gets it away. Complete. Going to be real close to a first down, maybe a foot or two shy.
And I think if it is a first down, it was second effort there by Muhammad, because they had him stop on the 35, the Grizzlies did, and Muhammad battled for more yardage, and he's close to a first down. And I was trying to spot number 26, Jelani Harrison, on the sideline. We talked about his injury. I can't find him. We're not sure what his status is. It looked like a possible some type of leg injury on a tackle in that first half. And J.R. Waller is pretty much carrying the load right now at running back.
It's a first down. The Vikings keep it going. We talked about the attendance tonight. They were expecting 11,000. They got more than that. 12,733 on hand tonight watching this football game. Here we go again. 1st and 10, 7 minutes left now in the third, 14-10. Vikings on top. Little different look with 2 wide. And that's going to be pass interference on Johnny Peoples, as he reached out and pretty blatantly grabbed a hold of Antonio Jackson, who was starting to go by him. Peoples pleading his case, but replay is going to show that he was all over him.
He sure did. Unfortunately, he did not need to, because it was actually in pretty good coverage. I'm not sure if he maybe made the play because he was losing a little ground here. You can't see the push. It was about at the 38-yard line, or excuse me, 42-yard line of Montana, as we listen to Bruce Palmer give what is amounting to a bunch of penalties for Montana. I think that's number 10.
It's number 11.
11 on the Grizz, and they just keep giving the momentum back to PSU, make a stop, but then a penalty, and that's really been hurting Montana here throughout the football game.
Montana's got no pressure on Justin Wood, consistently anyway. That's been a big factor. 2 tight ends, Muhammad in motion. He's got single coverage down the right sideline, going for Jay Williams, who's got it, and he's got a touchdown.
And that's a great pass by Wood. That's the second touchdown catch for Williams, and pretty much the same area where he made the fingertip grab in the first half. And Montana now in a deeper hole. First they were down 4. Now it could be 11. 6:41 here in the third quarter. Justin Wood on the money. You can see how he was a Big Sky Conference first teamer last year with throws like this.
Jay Williams has caught 2 touchdown passes in that exact same spot. 1 in the first quarter and 1 here in the third. 20-10. Make it 21-10. 11-point Viking lead. 6:41 left in the third. The Grizzlies in serious trouble in Portland. We'll be right back. Jay Williams only had 9 catches for 66 yards coming into this ball game and no touchdowns. Tonight, he only has 2 receptions, but guess what? They're both for 6 points. That last one from 48 yards out. Evander Seegers has got to jumpstart this Montana offense. And here he comes down the left side, gets a couple of blocks. He's up close to the 40-yard line. That's a start. The last scoring drive for the Vikings. 4 plays, 73 yards in 1:36. 48-yard pass from Wood to Williams. That's the Vikings' longest pass play of the season, and it could turn out to be their biggest play of the season, period. The Grizzlies have had an ability to respond through adversity this year and come back to win. Talking mostly about that game in Moscow a couple weeks ago against the Idaho Vandals. They're going to need some kind of effort right now. Trailing by 11. Keep it on the ground, J.R. Waller. Cuts it up inside. He's to the midfield stripe and a first down. If the Grizzlies can keep the penalties and turnovers to a minimum, they're going to move the ball. They've been able to run effectively tonight.
Well, they've been able to run effectively from the 20 to the 20. And then the red zone area bogged down a little. And really what Portland State's been able to do in two instances is hit a home run ball, get a long pass, and, credit Wood, the quarterback, and Williams, a good combination so far this evening.
Play fake. Johnny Montana going to Levander Seegers, and he's got him. Down to the 35 of Portland State. Make it the 34.
And, two plays, marching down the field. Montana just needs to convert in the red zone. I don't want to harp on it too much, but they've got to start getting points when they get down there. Of course, they're not inside the 20 yet, as that's the red zone in that area, but very effective so far.
J.R. Waller left side cuts it in, and here they come. Levander Seegers helping out, and it's hard to figure this out. 21-10, the Grizzlies trail. They look pretty good offensively right now. But like we said, David, it's been turnovers and it's been penalties that have been killing them and not getting it done in the red zone. And Waller now, 20 carries for 118 yards.
The workhorse, and he's going to get a lot more work before the evening's up with Harrison's out with a possible injury. And David Gober, not on the trip.
Connor Malloy, the right side tight end. They're going to run behind him. Ball came out, I believe. There's a flag on the play, but it looked like Waller coughed it up.
He did. It coughed it up, and he caught it in midair. And the referee going to go check with the line judge on, hey, what was that call? What we got going here?
We got a hold.
Ouch.
Hold against Montana. That'll bring the penalty total. The 12th penalty now for the Grizzlies and over 100 yards worth of flags.
And I'm not sure where they called it there, but Montana is just getting hamstrung with numerous penalties.
Holding, offense, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, replay, first down.
Justin Wood sure has plenty of time, and I don't think they've been called for, Portland State's been called for a hold, but the Grizz still in decent shape because they got first down. They just got a longer way to go to get a first down from the 31-yard line.
Plenty of time left in this ball game. 5:26 on the clock here in the third quarter.
And there you
but with field position like this, the Grizzlies have to get it done.
Excuse me, Tom. Just shot a shot of number 65, Garth Inger, now the starter with Brian Pelk, the senior center, out with an injury.
Edwards under pressure, gets it off to Waller. One man to beat, and he can't do it. And that's unfortunate because there was a lot of room, and Waller had two blockers, and both of them missed the man who made the tackle.
And Mike,
boy, oh boy.
Yeah, J.R. Waller did have some running room, just needs to get by one guy.
Raynard Carey, I believe, made the tackle.
And Corey Proctor was there, but, sometimes there's too much speed. The guy just gets by you. And right now at running back 38, Pete Hamill. So you've got to think Jelani Harrison is out of this football game with an injury sustained in the first half. We haven't seen him since then.
Hamill lined up behind Ben Wynn. Flags everywhere. Edwards running for his life. It might not matter. There's about 13 flags on the field.
And he threw that away. Pete Hamill, the closest to it. And
it's going to be a procedure call, I think.
Yeah,
if I had a bet.
I think I see, yep, procedure. Excuse me. And there's Coach Joe Glenn. Obviously very disappointed, but we can't panic. We're still 19 minutes of football here.
Penalty is declined. Third down.
So the Vikings decline it because it's third and a bunch. We're still about at the 30. So it's about 19 yards to go, and you look for number 1 on the left side, or number 2, and of course Tate Hancock scored that first and only touchdown for Montana here earlier in this football game.
3rd and 19. Edwards has got to check down to Pete Hamill, makes the catch up to almost the 25-yard line. That's where Chris Snyder's going to attempt the field goal from, and give Pete Hamill credit there. I'm sure he's keyed up coming into a ball game like this, a big time game, and he makes the catch, doesn't fumble, takes it up into range now where Chris Snyder comes out to attempt the kick.
Looks like about a 42-yarder for the junior from Spokane.
Snyder's been on the money as of late. Montana needs him here. Dane Oliver the hold. Snap is good, hold is good, kick is good.
So Chris Snyder's kicked 9 out of his last 11 field goals.
Montana is back within 1 score, 21-13. Portland State leads the national champs. Chris Snyder has the ball teed up. Hashim Hall standing at his own goal line. Snyder gets the ball off a high kick. Hall takes it at the 5-yard line. Boy, is he fast. Spin move, and Snyder makes the tackle with a big hit. Chris Snyder made a tackle on a kickoff last week. Must have lit a fire underneath him because he put a big hit on Hall that time as well. Big hit.
Well, granted, it was a big hit because Chris Snyder has got a few of those in his career. He's a good athlete. He's a good-sized kid. But nevertheless, Portland State starting this drive on their own 40-yard line field position has been huge. And another trivia for you there, bud.
1963, there were 6 charter members of the Big Sky Conference. What were those 6 schools? Ryan Fuqua takes it up past the 42-yard line.
I think people can get probably 5 of them, but I bet they can't get 1 of them.
Yep, I think you're right. I couldn't get the 6th one.
That's a tough one.
Here's a hint. They've become a very good basketball program.
And they're about 200 miles down the road, down I-90, going west. Yeah. Just as a basketball playing only school, though, at that time. Did not play football even back then. They did play football years ago, but not now.
2nd and 8. Here comes Trey Young off the corner spot. They get the pass out to Jay Williams. Jay Williams takes it up past the 50. Joel Rosenberg makes the tackle. Well, let's take a look at the answer to that trivia question. 6 charter members of the Big Sky Conference. Dave, give them to me.
Flash them.
Idaho, Idaho State.
There's Gonzaga.
Montana, Montana State, Weber State, and Gonzaga. That's the one I didn't get.
Of course, Gonzaga out of there a long time ago. Idaho, as recently as '96, we went up to 1AA football, and who knows, they may end up back with us again. You never know. The Vandals, great rivalry throughout the years for Montana.
Little Brown Steins in Missoula for the 3rd straight year.
That's a good deal.
Justin Wood hands off to Fuqua, but there's penalty whistles before things can develop.
So 33, Joel Rosenberg now in at DB. Senior from Whitefish.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
One of the great role players on this football team, Joel Rosenberg.
Oh, he's so a special teams guy. He excels at special teams. He can play free safety, strong safety, cornerback. And, you know, cornerback, I'm sorry, that's a bad position to play. It's so difficult. You're out there on an island with usually the fastest player on the other team, and it's just a tough position to play.
Johnny Peoples is not in the ball game. Rosie stays in at the right corner, and they're going to come after him. Almost picked off.
Lance Spencer.
As Lance Spencer got up in the air, got a piece of that pass.
Yeah, it was a pass to the flat. And
boy, oh boy.
Actually, the receiver was open. Lance saved the catch here. I think you can see the receiver right behind him. He's open.
Yep. Deontay Taylor was open in front of Joel Rosenberg. And now they're going to switch up. Here comes Vernon Smith to play the near side corner. Rosie's going to take the wide side. Kevin Edwards stays in the game. At free safety, Dave DeCoit in as well. Trey Young up in the nickel spot. Here comes Young on a blitz. Hands up in the air. Complete, but Edwards makes a big stick on Salim Muhammad. No gain on the play.
Dangerous pass by Wood there. If Edwards could have read that a little quicker, you never know. Although Wood unloaded it pretty quick. And no, Edwards was about three steps behind. A nice play, though. This kid is going to be he's an outstanding player. It's a redshirt freshman. He's going to get bigger and stronger. And I know the coaches are very, very high on him, the Montana coaches.
He can flat out bring it.
So this has been a nemesis for the Grizzlies right now. Third down conversions, Portland State, I believe 8 of 11 right now. Very, very efficient third down rate.
3 wide. Here comes Joel Robinson up the middle on a blitz. Trey Young also in the backfield. But the Vikings get out of trouble. They're going to be near another first down as Deontay Bryant hauls in the catch. How did Justin Wood escape all that heat? I want to know.
And not only that, he threw to his left, going to his left. Tough pass. And you may see the Vikings. No, they're not going to gamble here. They're going to punt it away. I thought they might go on the 4th down try.
They're going to play the percentages right here.
Passos comes in. They list Passos at 5'8", 200. If he's 5'8", I'm 6'5". I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. But he's got a good little leg.
Very little.
And Mr. Excitement back there been pretty much a handcuff so far. Levander Seegers back for the punt.
He's going to let this one bounce. Oh, golly. But the Vikings make a big mistake as it goes into the end zone. Portland State should have downed that ball at the 1 or the 2 yard line, but a miss.
Well, the officials are talking about it, but I think his momentum carried against the yard marker, which means you start out at the 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Montana will sure like that one a little better than starting at the half-inch line as compared to the 20-yard line.
Big break for the Grizzlies, and boy, do they need that offensive line right now.
Montana very efficient offensively, just kind of haven't been able to get in the end zone as much as they'd like. Darn near 400 yards, I think, in total offense now with 43 seconds to go in this third quarter.
4 wide. J.R. Waller back in the game. Half a yard on the carry. 21 carries now, 119 yards for the redshirt freshman.
Probably be the last play of the third quarter for the Montana Grizzlies, trailing by 8 points, 21-13, which, of course, if you're a math major like I was not, a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, and you're right back in this one. So Montana still real close within range.
Waller called on again. And again, not much doing. The Vikings were 5-1 last year at home in PGE Park. That's the end of the third quarter. And heading into it, Montana's down by 8, 21-13.
Get ready for the 4th quarter on Grizzly Gridiron Classics.
21-13. A conference record winning streak. Playoff positioning.
The whole enchilada. A lot of stuff hanging out there right now from Montana.
I'll tell you what, and a lot of pride and everything else that comes with it on the line. 21-13. John Edwards brought down. And he's brought down hard. Agatupu Sagapulafele.
Very good. And John didn't have a chance there.
Sagapulatelli brings Edwards down, and it's 4th and 15. The Grizzlies have to punt. Spencer at his own goal line. We need you now, right now. We need Mark Spencer to get off a good one. Decent punt, takes a Montana bounce.
Good coverage there. Tyler Peterson, 28. Trey Young. And wisely, Steve Shannon let that one go because that would have been dangerous to try to field that.
So Spencer comes through on his part. Now the Montana defense has got to tighten the screws and get the ball back. 53 yards on the punt for Spencer. Tim Walsh has seen this program go from Division II. Took the Vikings to the playoffs his first 3 years here. Made the tough transition to the 1AA level. Having to watch his scholarships go up as the funding increases, and now they've got a chance to dethrone the national champs and knock them off of their conference winning streak. Man in motion is Muhammad. Up over the 30-yard line. Fuqua has been held in check tonight. 18 carries and only 31 yards. Well below his averages, but
yeah,
they've done enough other things. Though. I mean, Wood has picked up the slack.
That dictates to less than 2 yards a carry. Obviously, Montana, I think his touchdown run was a 2-yarder. Has a couple receptions, but Justin Wood, the quarterback, Jay Hamilton, the receiver, have been the killer so far tonight for the Montana Grizzlies, working their magic for Portland State.
Again to Fuqua. Lance Spencer brings him down along with Joel Robinson.
And the Vikings have been satisfied to do this, play ground control, and then just are deadly on third down conversions. I think they're about 75%, and you're going to win a lot of football games if you can convert to 75% of the time on third down conversion, and that's just what they seem to be doing. So the Montana Grizzlies looking for a huge stop here, get the ball back, and maybe try to keep a little momentum on their side.
3rd and 7. Levin and Jackson split out. They go to Fuqua. Kevin Edwards dances with them, and then Fuqua turns the corner. Close to a first down. He's going to be short.
Yeah, he stepped out. He actually looked like he'd made it past her, but he must have stepped out on the line and stepped out of bounds when he tried to make that extra surge. Excellent pressure by Montana. Right on the money by Wood, and here's where this speed is scary. Kevin Edwards really made a nice play to slow him down, and he must have stepped out of bounds a couple yards before that.
Edwards did just enough. Vikings gonna punt. Eddie Pazos from his own 25. Levander Seegers crouched down at the 24 of Montana. Good punt. High punt. Penalty flags on the play. I don't believe anyone from Montana touched the ball.
No, they didn't. And
so either it's going to be downed and spotted at the 5-yard line where Portland State picked it up, or it's going to be brought up due to a penalty. Take another look at it.
Well, and he knocked.
Well, that's a push in the back right there is what that is.
Yeah. The officials talking it over. Bruce Palmer is our white hat this evening. Working with Lou Tosti, Tim Messery, Jeff Robinson, Kevin Klesner, Robert Holloway, and Bob Rolling are the officials this evening.
Want to say hi to a bunch of Grizzly fans watching tonight's game at Lumpy's in Salt Lake City. Tim Walsh can taste it. They're so close right now.
Non-contact interference with the opportunity to catch a kick on the kicking team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
So that's a halo violation is what it is. That used to be a 5-yard penalty. Now this year it's a 10-yard penalty. And what a break for Montana.
Yeah, they pick up 10 yards on the penalty, as you said, Tom. And starting at the 35 is a better deal. The more yardage you can chalk off, the better. And you see Walsh there talking it over the official. Too late now, Tim. Let it go.
Edwards brings his troops to the line. He's got 2 tight ends. They go to J.R. Waller. Waller across the 40. Waller could go down the right sideline. Cuts it back inside, now outside again. First down near the 25-yard line.
Nice hesitation move by J.R. Waller. Knew he probably couldn't get past the secondary because they had the angle on him. Tried to do a little stutter step, pick up a few more yards, but here you see the speed of J.R. Waller.
He can crank into that extra gear without barely pressing the clutch in.
And he outran
Acceleration
his blockers a little there, which I guess is hard to argue with.
Yeah. 2 tight ends again. Edwards to John Talmadge. 20-yard line. Oh, and he just about popped it for 6 as the defender on the play slipped down. And Talmadge found himself face to face with the end zone for a split second before help came.
Well, there's a lot of time left in this football game, 12-17 to be exact, and last time Montana played here was an overtime contest, and you never know. We're heading in that direction, but there's still plenty of time, and of course, Montana needs to get in the end zone as well. Timeout, the officials are switching footballs, and it's chilled down a bit here in Portland at PGE Park. Still a very, very pleasant evening for football here in the Pacific Northwest.
1st and 10 from the 15. Montana trails by 8. Edwards buying some time. Gets a monster block from John Talmadge to pick up a few more yards. Boy, Talmadge put all of his 6'4" frame into that one. Edwards picks up a couple of yards. Doesn't make any mistakes, and the Grizzlies now 2nd and 8.
Tough yards, very tough yards. Took a couple good hits there, but he did what a smart quarterback does. He eats the ball and doesn't force it into coverage.
Ben Wynn lined up in the backfield along with J.R. Waller. And that play just never really developed. It's going to be 3rd down and about 8 for the Grizzlies.
And Montana may be setting up a play, I'm not sure here, but what they like to do there is hand off to Waller, although it's a pitch to Waller going right, and he'll throw back to Edwards on the left. They used this play, Montana, a couple times in the past. Haven't used it in recent history to my knowledge, although down 3rd down here, you never know. That's kind of risky.
I like John Talmadge up top. Edwards wants to go that way. Now he's got to get out of trouble. And he takes it down close to 1st down yardage, but he's going to be about a half yard shy. So here comes the decision.
Well,
with 11 minutes left, do you take 3 points, or do
you
you go
what
for it?
Montana did, Tommy, right before halftime, 3 seconds to go. Quick snap to John Edwards, and stopped short of a touchdown. And right now, they're going to huddle up, talk about it, and burn a timeout.
A big play coming up. The Grizzlies are going to talk it over. They trail the Vikings 21-13 with 10:45 left. Well, it looks like Joe Glenn wants the 3 points. Although, let's remember, the Grizzlies do run a pretty effective fake field goal, although I don't think they're going to do it here. Oliver, the holder. Snap is good, hold is good, and the kick is good. Well, Snyder shows a little nerve there, bangs it through. 21-16, the Grizzlies now back in the game. Want to send a thanks to all of our sponsors, statewide sponsors for today's game. Without their support, our broadcast would not be possible. Lucky Lil's and Magic Diamond Casino is a division of Town Pump across Montana. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Montana, the Montana Wood Products Association, Universal Athletic Service, CarQuest Auto Parts Stores, and your Montana Ford stores. Thank you for your partnership. As for the 2nd year in a row, all Montana games are televised one way or another across the Treasure State.
That is a great deal for Montana fans and the Montana football program. And really, you know, you wonder on that 10:43 to go in this football game, kicking a field goal there takes pressure off you, because instead of, not only you have to pick up the 1st down, you got to score, then you got to score a 2-point conversion. So those points were pretty huge at that point. And of course, we talked about Chris Snyder, 10 of his last 12 now, very, very efficient. And who knows, the way this one's coming, it may come down to either number 30 or number 27 or 29, excuse me, that one way or the other to maybe win this baby.
Grizzlies go 70 yards in 6 plays that time in 1:50, and Snyder with the field goal. He's 3 of 3 tonight. And this one's coming out, look out! What a play, guess who? Missoula native Brett Myers.
Yeah, Brent Myers, and he's been bothered with a foot injury, unfortunately, but he's still pretty darn effective in that kickoff coverage.
Wow, Hashim Hall.
From Big Sky High School, and of course Brent actually started the first game of the season at the nickelback position, but been hampered with injuries, unfortunately. Big hit for Montana, long way for the Vikings to go now to answer that 3 points by the Montana offense.
Hashim Hall brought it out, and Myers made him pay. I formation, they go to Fuquay. Dave DeCoit got him at the line of scrimmage.
And you know, if you're and Fuquay's limping, saying, hey, put somebody else in here, what a huge injury that would be if Ryan Fuquay could not return. And, you know, if you're a Montana fan right now, you just expect to see Montana come back and win this game, because they just have a knack for never giving up, never dying. And, of course, Justin Wood has been very, very sharp. You see Fuquay there being helped off the field. Big injury on PSU.
Joe Rubin, a freshman out of Tacoma, into the ball game at the tailback spot, and that one's dropped. Salim Muhammad over the middle had it right on the number, and he dropped it. Wouldn't have been enough for a first down, but it would have given him a little breathing room, and now it's 3rd and 10.
He actually only would have picked up a couple yards. I think it was on the 10-yard line. Very good coverage. Joel Robinson, that's Adam Holt 50, coming up there for the stop. And, you know, because Fuquay just went out with that injury, you've got to think Portland State much more likely to put the football up, and in this situation with 3rd and 10.
Staggered eye backfield behind Justin Wood. They pick up the blitz. Wood has time. Out to Antonio Bryant, and Bryant could score. Here comes Dave DeCoit to make a saving touchdown tackle. Oh, boy. Kevin Edwards got turned around.
And a big play, huge play by Portland State. 3rd and 10, Montana has got them pinned in on their own 8-9 yard line, and Wood just on the money.
Antonio Jackson just made what could turn out to be the biggest play of the game.
Not only that, you put yourself in field goal position now if you're Portland State on the 22. That's a 39-yard field goal just from right there.
Field goal puts you back up by 8. 21-16, 9:24 left. Up the middle with Joe Rubin, the freshman who still is in the game. As take a look at the sidelines underneath us here, and Fuquay is being worked on. Looks like they're trying to rewrap his right ankle. So for the time being, Fuquay out of the ball game, as is Jelani Harrison, the Montana back. Jelani got hurt in the first half, and he's on the bench with his foot elevated as well. So a couple of backs banged up, but right now the Vikings thinking about putting more points on the board. 2 tight ends in the game. They give to Rubin, not a whole lot of room. That sets up a 3rd and 5 for the Vikings.
Portland State satisfied to run the clock, run the ball, get in field position, and let their guy, Cahill Willis, who is a pretty efficient field goal kicker, not great range, but very efficient. 10 of 15 with a long of 39 this season. And another 3rd down situation.
Deontay Bryant split out top. Jesse Levin and Jackson down to this side. Wood slips, and that is a costly slip. Trey Young coming on with the pressure. Wood falls down.
And Cahill Willis, 25, the field goal kicker. Trotting on there, a 25-yard line. Maybe about a 42-yarder, somewhere in there.
42-yarder, I think.
Help me out on that one, Tom. I'm slow on my math.
I wasn't a math major either.
And
I barely passed the one math class I took in college.
There you go, 7:40 and counting. Big field goal attempt right now for the Vikings.
K. Hall Willis, a knuckleball. That's no good. And that ball might have been tipped. I want to take another look at that. I'm not sure, but the way it came out, Dave, unless he really squibbed it,
Well, it definitely came out like a knuckleball. And
Oh, he just got a death look from Tim Walsh.
Tim Walsh
his head
was
coach.
not happy with that. And, you know, I couldn't tell there.
You know, maybe it didn't. It just could have been a kind of a knuckleball.
Well,
either way, it's a miss. 21-16.
Is it that time? Johnny Montana, John Edwards, 23-1 as a starter, hoping to take his team the distance here and get a touchdown. And I just put the curse on him. He slipped, setting up. What a costly fall by the senior quarterback. Looking downfield, and it'll be 2nd and 15. And what do you say on that? That's just bad luck.
I say you jinxed them in that one, Dave.
I'm not going to say another word now. He just tried to set up and slip, plain and simple, and lost 7-8 yards.
Montana, 2nd and 18. From their own 16-yard line. Now Bruce Palmer has issue with something going on.
Switching
They're
football.
going to switch the ball. Well, there's 6:57 to go here at PGE Park. We've talked about everything that's riding on this game. It comes down to just under 7 minutes. Here it is. Buckle up. Talmadge in motion. He's got Connor Malloy in the flat. Goes downfield to number 2. And Talmadge wants a flag. No call. Joe Glenn is hot. Joe Glenn is sprinting down to the official to plead his case. I think what they're saying is that Talmadge was turned around and he wasn't going to catch that ball anyway.
Well, he was. He did turn the wrong way. And yet you could have flagged that. The official could have flagged that. Did not. And now Montana 3rd and a bunch here. 6:45 to go in this football game.
Dane Oliver, Levander Seegers, the wideouts to the near side. John Talmadge split to the right. Encroachment.
So that
It's
makes
going to be a call right here. So that'll make it.
3rd and what?
Yep. 14.
Okay. 3rd and 14. So that helps a little. Helps in the sense that Montana needs a little less time to throw the
Contact
football.
offside on the defense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Bruce Palmer with the call.
Agatupu Sagapotele got going a little early. Third and 14. J.R. Waller, the lone back. Here comes the blitz. The Grizzlies pick it up. Dane Oliver wide open. 1st down and more. Up to the 45.
And of course, Dane Oliver made that huge catch right before halftime, but got stopped at the 1-inch line. Another big catch by the junior from Monmouth, Oregon.
Wide open. Sat down in the zone. Caught the ball. Took her upfield. Now the Grizz go to tight end. Back to the ground game. J.R. Waller met in the backfield by Mr. Sagapotele. Agatupu Sagapotele with a big play.
Entered the game with 7 tackles for losses. One of the leaders on the Portland State defense, and this had no chance. JR just took his lumps, and Waller hung onto the ball, making it about a 2nd and 12 now for the Montana offense.
Tate Hancock back in the game. Talmadge as well on top. Connor Malloy's open in the flat. Edwards has got him. Across the 50. Hang on to it, big guy. And he's out of bounds.
Drop the yard marker because they don't want the Connor diving into that. It'll be about 4 yards to go for the 1st down. Nice tackle by Portland State. Connor, a tough man to bring down with that size. And it's one of those old big 3rd down conversion attempts again for the Grizz.
Edwards. John Talmadge. 1st down, Montana.
And Talmadge just continues to be a go-to guy. Entered the game as Montana's 2nd leading receiver. 27 catches coming into the game. He's got 8 right now, so 35 catches now for John Talmadge. on the season, and they'll continue to get bigger as this game progresses.
5:38 left on the clock. Montana trails by 5. The gift to J.R. Waller. Cuts it up. Minimal gain, maybe 2 yards.
JR with no running room there. Levander Seegers tried to make a block, missed it, and I don't know if it would have sprung the thing. Might have picked up a few more yards. The Grizz offense in a double tight now.
It's go time for this Montana offensive line. This is it right here. You want to win 5 straight conference championships, you got to do it over the next 5 minutes. John Edwards throws to Willie Walden, and it's almost picked off, falls to the turf. It'll be 3rd down for Montana, and they're lucky to still have the ball.
I think Montana did get a break there. Johnny Edwards threw that into double coverage, threw it behind Willie Walden, and of course Willie a big target, 6'7", 275. Another 3rd down opportunity for the Grizz.
Levander Seegers is in one-on-one coverage on the near side. Might want to watch out for that. The Vikings showing blitz. Now they back off. Edwards is going to have to run for it. And he's close, but he's going to be short by a couple of yards.
And if you're Montana right now, the ball's on the 35-yard line. It's going to be 4th and 2. I think this is the time you call one of those plays that you can get a first down on. I think you got to go for it now with 4:38 and counting. It's the first 4th down conversion attempt by either team this evening.
2 tight ends in the game. Walden and Connor Malloy. J.R. Waller had some problems here in Edwards. It's getting loud in PGE Park. Here it is. John Edwards has got to run for it. He's not even close. The Vikings are going to take over, and John Edwards took a major hit. He gets up, but it's Viking ball.
Really not sure who he was looking at here. Good pressure by Portland State.
I want to say that Willie Walden was open for a second. Edwards decided to tuck it and run.
Took quite a hit there, too.
Boy, oh boy.
That's Kevin Haston. And now Portland State needs to try to get a few first downs and put this one away. Easier said than done.
Montana has 2 timeouts left, and that's going to help. Wrapped up in the backfield, Lance Spencer made the play on Joe Rubin. As Ryan Fuqua is nowhere to be found, he's still out of the ball game.
And Montana, with 2 timeouts left in this football game, they're going to hang on to those as long as they can. But of course, right now, the injury to Ryan Fuqua has slowed down the offense a bit, maybe put a little more pressure on Wood. But how anxious are you to put the ball up with a 5-point lead, 3.5 minutes to go?
Tim Hester lined up in the backfield along with Joe Rubin.
And Wood with an audible.
Wood wants to throw the ball. He goes deep, overshot his intended receiver, who had gotten a step. Jesse Levin had broken away. That's a big play for a couple of reasons. Number 1, it's incomplete. Number 2, stops the clock.
Yeah, and Levin was open. And once again, Justin Wood, like John Edwards, showing a lot of toughness, standing in the pocket, took a good hit right after he delivered that. He's taken a lot of good hits, but hanging in there. And with Fuqua out, once again, I think Wood more likely to put the ball up because his go-to guys, he's on the bench with an ankle injury or some type of a leg injury.
Precarious situation here for the Vikings. You want to get the first down, but you don't want to risk an interception. 3 wide, 2 in the backfield. Here comes the heat. Flags all over the place. We're going to have a holding call against the Vikings.
And you almost want to take it because of field position, and yet it's 4th down. So Montana probably refuse this because it'll be 4th and 10, and they want to get the ball back as soon as possible.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, they'll refuse this one for sure. Yeah, you see one of the players there, I think that's Lance Spencer, saying, no, punt this thing.
Holding on the offense. Penalty is declined.
You got it.
Fourth
Hold
down.
call on PSU.
And you can bet that Eddie Pazos is not going to give Levander Seegers much to work with. He's going to try to not do that anyway.
Yeah, Levander's been pretty limited so far the evening in punt returns. 1 for 7 yards.
Standing at his own 26-yard line. If there was ever a time
Using all the
for
clock.
LV to dazzle, it would be right now. They can take this down to about 2:44 before they have to snap it. They're going to snap it earlier than that. High spiraling kick. Seegers takes that his own 26-yard line.
I'm not sure if that was another halo call or not, but because in most cases you think Levander may fair catch that. That was an excellent punt. It was good hang time.
That's a dangerous play by number 1 to not fair catch that.
And that's the call.
In all honesty, so a halo infraction, and again, that's 10 yards now. We'll take a timeout. 21-16, the Grizzlies take over with 2:40 left in the game. Let's get this fourth quarter trivia out of the way before things get too messy. 1979 saw Gonzaga leave the Big Sky Conference. What school replaced them? We'll have the answer in a few plays. Montana 1st and 10, 4 wide, Edwards. Going deep down the right side for John Talmadge, and he throws it out of bounds.
And here's the scenario with 2:34 to go. Montana does have 2 timeouts remaining. Down 5, 21-16. Ryan Fuquay, the star halfback for Portland State, left a couple series ago with some type of leg or ankle injury. Portland State struggled a bit offensively since, but the University of Montana now running out of options, running out of time. Got to get some first downs, got to get in the end zone. Need a touchdown to pull this one out here in Portland.
2nd and 10. Grizzlies pick up the pressure. John Talmadge has it, and he has a first down for the Grizzlies.
And this is the huge thing about college football that differentiates it from pro. You get a timeout, or you get a brief timeout when they move the chains, that first down. It can really add a lot of valuable seconds on to the tail end of a football game.
Clock rolling now at 2:23 and counting. J.R. Waller lined up behind Montana. Looked like Portland State jumped, but no flag. Complete to John Talmadge, and he gets out of bounds. Good play.
You know, and really with 2 timeouts, you can still run the football. You don't probably want to run it a lot, but just to keep him honest, and with the J.R. Waller, he had a huge run earlier in this football game. He's racked up 150-plus yards running the football at about 7 yards a pop. J.R. Waller has been very successful tonight. So that's one option you might look at, but of course Montana still has to move the ball about 43 yards, 44 yards to score.
2:11 left on the clock. Edwards, again, they pick up the heat. Now he's got to run. Flag on the play, though. And I'm afraid we might have a hold on the Grizzlies. That's kind of the area where the flag was thrown.
Yep.
Let's answer that trivia question. How about right now? After Gonzaga left the Big Sky, what school replaced them?
Start with an E.
Starts with an N.
Oh, Nevada.
You got it.
When did Eastern Washington come in there? I thought you were going to help me out. Give me these trivias. You're making me look bad. Of course, Nevada Reno left the league and moved up to 1A football as well. They left a while back, as did Boise State and the University of Idaho. And costly penalty to the Montana Grizzlies, a 10-yarder.
Holding on the
So
offense.
instead of second and what, 3 or 4,
Replay, second down.
it's second 13 or 14.
2:05 left. Two timeouts left for the Grizzlies. And they're going to restart the play clock, and now we're set to go. Seegers and Oliver to the near side. Slip screen, Levander Seegers, and oh boy, what a play. Number 48 came in there and made a play, Byron Woods.
and that could have gone for a bit too. It looked like there was pretty decent blocking set up, and just fires himself through there.
And the play clock operator here should be fired. That's the 4th time tonight they've had to stop and tell him to reset the 25-second play clock.
Yeah.
Here we go. 21-16, a buck 38 left in the game. 3rd and 15 for Montana. Edwards with time. Dane Oliver, first down. Are you kidding me?
Dane Oliver has just been huge with some big catches, and that might have been the biggest one so far. John Edwards was excellent time. Stood in there, stood in the pocket tough, and knocking on the door, Tommy.
That's a senior quarterback right there, Dave, is what that is. Standing in the pocket, season, winning streak on the line, and he finds the open man. 4 wide. Flag on the play. This is going to be a procedure call against Montana. I think someone jumped.
Yep. Jumped early on the left side of it. And man, I don't know what the record for penalties is, but I know they're not approaching that, but they sure have a bunch. Montana Grizzlies with, I think, 14 penalties now. And, you know, at this point of the game, maybe it's not that big of a deal. They're going to have to air it out anyways. A minute 14 to go. Montana still hanging on to those 2 timeouts. So they do have those options available if they can't get out of bounds or get a first down.
How about a draw play to J.R. Waller? 1:15 to go. Now the clock runs at 1:14. Edwards across the middle. Almost picked off, but it's not.
Oh, man. And the Portland State fans, you can hear them in unison, just like us up here. Dodged a bullet, overthrown. I think it was Dane Oliver who John Edwards had hit 3 times before going over the middle, just overthrew it. In 46, Oliver bumped into him. 3 different Portland State players have a chance. Montana with new life. 2nd down, 15 from the 35. We've got exactly 64 seconds remaining.
Tate Hancock in the game. He's the 3rd receiver on the inside up top. Talmadge the far flanker. Seeger's down here by himself. In the middle is Dane Oliver. Edwards comes this way to LV. Slips on the play. What's the call? Completion.
That was a great catch by Levander Sears. He slipped, laid out. You can see that he had his arms underneath that thing. And now Montana with first down on the 11-yard line. They actually can get a first down. Here you see Edwards, timing pattern. Levander, arms underneath, and the Grizz burn one of their 2 remaining timeouts.
If you leave us now, it wouldn't be smart. We'll be back after this. 21-16, the Grizzlies looking to go in and to go on top. Grizzlies at the 11-yard line. 57 ticks left.
I like a swing pass to J.R. Waller to the right side.
A lot of pressure coming. Waller, left side. Dave Guffey, you called it.
Okay, but I called the wrong side, but there's a play. J.R. Waller, so effective catching the football. Montana, be careful now. Don't get a celebration penalty.
Edwards to J.R. Waller for 6 points. And the Grizzlies take the lead. They're up by 1. So 22-21. And they're going to go for 2.
And you've got to go for 2.
Yeah.
And J.R. Waller in the old hometown, quite of this crowd, but there's still 51 seconds to go. This is college football. Who knows?
Jump ball, John Talmadge. 2 points for number 2.
And that was a big play. That's a 3-point difference. That's a big play. Even though Cahill Willis missed a field goal earlier, still Montana gives itself a great shot there. And now you've got to contain one of the most explosive kickoff returners in the country. And you probably don't want to squib it to give him great field position. Here's a replay of Waller's touchdown.
The Vikings brought the house. They sold out on the blitz. All John Edwards had to do was buy himself enough time to get the pass off. And oh boy, what a return for the hometown boy to put his team up.
And 75, Corey Proctor. I don't know if he made a block, but he was out there in the way.
And there was no doubt what the Grizz were doing here. Going up top for Mr. Talmadge. Edwards put it up and just go get it, you know.
Great footwork by Talmadge. And now, I don't know if you squib it, but you might want to try to find a pocket and maybe not give this explosive returner, Hashim Hall, 28.8 average coming in, an opportunity to return this, and he is dangerous.
And Hall has had a couple of big ones tonight. He brought one out from inside his own end zone out to the 35 earlier.
And really, Chris Snyder's kickoffs are much more effective when he gets a little loft on them. They're not quite as deep, but it gives that return team more time to get down there and make a stop.
Tyler Peterson, Brett Myers, Joel Rosenberg, we need you now, boys. 51 ticks left. 24-21 Grizzlies. The squib kick. Fielded at the 10-yard line. Jefferson Heidelberger. I left him out, so he made the play. I didn't mention his name, but I should have.
We sure the heck should, because he's been great on special teams. 12, Brent Myers has been huge. Rosenberg, you know, a lot of those guys making big tackles. Tyler Peterson is a great special teams guy. So 80 yards for a touchdown. You don't know how close Hall Willis needs to get there. He's got a 39-yarder this season.
His long, 39 yards. Justin Wood, senior quarterback, would love nothing more than to bring this team down and score. 3 wide. He wants to go left side. Here comes the heat, brought down. Lance Spencer.
And they're calling one of their timeouts. They got plenty. PSU has 3 timeouts.
Lance Spencer makes the play. They were double teaming Tim Bush that time. Spencer came free and made the sack.
Well, I don't know if you noticed on the replay, but Tim Bush, I think it was Tim Bush, got almost tackled in the play. Really good push up front by the D-line. And of course, you're not sure, you know, John Cahill, we haven't mentioned his name a bunch. He had a huge game last week in that Southern Utah win. But, you're playing a 3-man front. You've got your nickel, your dime package, with Kyle Scholl, 25 now in there, and so you're just trying to keep things in front of you right now. And those 3 guys up front, that's a lot of pressure on them with a 3-man rush. You may see number 3 Trey Young racing in on one of these on a safety blitz, a defensive back blitz though.
2nd and 16, 40 seconds left. Woods got time. Checks down. And Salim Muhammad fell to the turf at the 20-yard line.
So they'll have to burn another timeout because he caught it inbounds. And, of course, that gives PSU, Tom, and it's huge, one more timeout with 29 seconds remaining.
Johnny Peoples is back in the game. Joel Rosenberg is out. So your corners are People and Smith. DeCoit and Edwards, your safeties. Trey Young at the nickel.
And I wouldn't be surprised right now to put Trey Young in a blitz situation. He was on the right side last play for the Montana Grizzlies. Of course, he's such an effective blitzer. That would put coverage on the DeCoit. DeCoit would have that inside slot back. Trey's been shading him about 5-7 yards deep. But, of course, you give up that play. But in this situation, you might be able to give up that 5 or 7 yards to try to get that huge sack. And of course, this is a 2-play deal for the Vikings. It's 3rd down, but you're not going to punt the ball off with 29 ticks to go, Tom.
Not in the situation. No, you won't. 29 left. A huge game for both clubs has come down to the last couple seconds. 21-24. Vikings got to go a long way. Wood airs it out, looking for Jay Williams. He falls down, picked off by Vernon Smith. And the Montana Grizzlies are going to hang
Oh, yeah,
on
you
for the
got to go
victory.
down. Good move. Vernon Smith with 4 interceptions on the year now, one of the Big Sky Conference leaders. And there is, unfortunately, a Portland State player down on the field after that play. He got blocked by a couple Grizzly players. Montana dodged the bullet. Here we go, Woods. This is a Hail Mary pass. He's just hoping his big play receiver all night long, Jay Williams, with 2 touchdown catches, slips, the ball's underthrown, and Vernon Smith gives Montana its 22nd consecutive win overall, and the training staff looking at the injured player now. I think it's right there on the tackle, actually. It was a player who made the tackle.
Jackson.
Antonio Jackson. I hope he's okay. We sure don't want, this has been too great of a football game to get anyone hurt. Grizzlies now with their 23rd Big Sky Conference win in a row, and of course their 22nd overall, and I want to say the 18th Big Sky Conference. No, that's not true. A consecutive road conference win. As we watch the replay one more time, Montana. Hey, Johnny Montana did it again. John Edwards goes to 24-1 as a starter, and just made big play after big play. The game breaker, Tommy, J.R. Waller, screenplay.
Boy, oh boy.
In his hometown, and what an exciting thing for the several thousand Montana fans, 3,000 Montana fans that were here. Portland State, excellent football team, and you can see why they were picked second. When they lost their main man, Fuqua, it really hurt them big time. They had to go more of a passing game. I'm talking about Ryan Fuqua, was injured earlier, about 2 or 3 series ago for the Vikings, did not return. They taped him up, hoping to get him back in, and that was a huge part of this football game, as well as the Montana offense scoring when it had to.
The Grizz moved the ball when they had to. Clutch play by John Edwards across the middle to Dane Oliver on 3rd and long to keep that drive alive. And then the touchdown as the Vikings sold out on the blitz, and Edwards able to dump it off to J.R. Waller, who got in for the go-ahead score.
Of course, nowadays they are so careful with injuries, especially pertaining to the neck area. We saw the play. It really, here's Vernon Smith just picked off Woods' pass. Actually looked like he was trying to go down here, but
so maybe took a knee to the head.
Might have took a knee to the head, hit the ground hard, hit his head hard, and we just hope he's okay.
18 seconds left in this one as the trainers for the Vikings tend to Antonio Jackson, who's had a good ball game. Jackson, in fact, the leading receiver tonight for the Vikings, 6 catches, 121 yards, and now they have him sitting up.
Good. That's great. Antonio Jackson from Portland, Oregon, a senior, David Douglas High School, and it's always great to see a player sit up like that. Might have sustained some type of head injury. Like I said, we just hope he's okay. This has been too great of a football game for any team to lose one of their valuable players. And the crowd gives them a great ovation. And most of the crowd that's remaining is wearing the maroon colors right now. And Tom, this is a little different than the last football game we did together. Of course, we did the Weber State game, 5 turnovers by the Wildcats. The Grizz just got to put it on cruise control. This was a battle all the way. Montana battled back from a 21-10 deficit and scored 13 unanswered points. A lot of heroes this evening for Montana. Snyder with his field goals. The defense when they made plays. J.R. Waller, 156
Dane Oliver.
yards. Dane Oliver, John Talmadge, the list goes on. But Montana dodged a huge bullet. Joe Glenn,
boy, oh boy.
36-3. He remains undefeated in Big Sky Conference play in 2+ seasons.
Gives a hug to Harvey Patton, former player. The last time that he and Harvey were on this field, they lost when they were both Northern Colorado Bears. Tonight, they're Grizzlies and they're victors, 24-21. This game, even better than it was billed to be. An absolute classic. 24-21, the Grizzlies conference title hopes stay alive. Their conference winning streak stays alive. That's the final. When we come back, we're going to wrap this one up. What a game. 24-21. the Grizzlies stay perfect on the year. The Montana Grizzlies celebrating with their fans along the sidelines. A win for the ages, 24-21. Tom Kotz here along with Dave Guffey. We just saw a fantastic comeback, capped off when J.R. Waller got in on the screen pass to give the Grizzlies the win. And boy, oh boy, they're partying back in Missoula and across the state of Montana. They're partying here in Portland, Oregon.
Well, you know, you're thinking, of course, I'm thinking about Stocks, Reds, the Mo Club, the press box. Things are rocking and rolling. Hey, you guys have a soda for Tom and me. We're going to be on the plane, on the charter. We get back about 1:30 in the morning. But I said it earlier in the broadcast, Tom, and it just, if you're a Montana fan, if you're a Montana player, you just expect Montana to pull these things out, because they do, game in, game out. And talk about adversity, overcoming penalties. Jelani Harrison gets injured. So you got essentially one main back to go to. And John Edwards, just, I don't know. Johnny Montana, I think just fits him perfectly, because, you know, you can't label leadership. You can't quantify it. He's got it.
Something to be said about winners and championship attitudes, and that championship attitude brought the Grizzlies back against the University of Idaho, and it brought them back here tonight in a game that meant so much, not only in terms of winning streaks and conference championships, but just laying it out on the line pride. Take a look at John Skinner.
Skinny from Dillon,
Montana.
You know who I think about too doing this broadcast is the last time we were here doing this broadcast, Bob Hermits was doing it. I was helping keep stats. And Bob, wish you could have been here for this one, bud. We were thinking about you, of course. And you know, as we've talked about, Bob's battling an illness right now. We're all pulling for him big time. Bobby, hey, this would have been a fun one for you to do, bud, but Tom and I had to suffer through it, and we had our doubts, but I don't think the Grizzlies ever did.
Well, that's the thing. You have to believe you can win every game, and the Grizzlies kept the faith throughout, and they kept their winning streak intact, and boy, oh boy, they're going to keep smiles on their faces for another week.
Tom Kotz, we're undefeated.
That's it, Dave.
Keep her going.
Me and you, we're good luck for the Grizz. The Grizzlies 8-0 on the season. For all of our crew, and for Dave Guffey, I'm Tom Kotz, saying so long from the Rose City. The Grizzlies pull out the win in an all-time classic, 24-21. They stay undefeated on the season. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in 2 weeks for Northern Arizona. Good night.
Now, back to Grizzly Gridiron Classics.
On tonight's Chalk Talk, we're going to look at a big play by the Grizz where John Edwards dropped back in a 7-step drop and threw a pass to Dane Oliver that set up the winning touchdown against Portland State. This particular pass play is basically 4 verticals by the wideouts, going there, going there, going there, and going there. John drops back to pass and keys exactly what's going on with the secondary. The corner dropped off, the safety bailed, and Dane wiggled back to the middle. John delivered the ball for about a 25-yard gain, and the next play we hit J.R. Waller for 11-yard touchdown screen pass. So big play, and the real key to that was the protection up front. Just a great job of giving John plenty of time to drop back, shuffle up in the pocket, and throw the pass to Dane Oliver to set up the winning score.
Montana went on to finish 11-3 in 2002 during its title defense. The Grizzlies ultimately fell to McNeese State in a thriller that December, which ended their bid for a repeat. Thanks for watching this week's Grizzly Gridiron Classic, and next week we go to 2003, where a current Grizz football coach had a breakout game against rival Eastern Washington. See you then.